Welcome into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you on this Thursday afternoon. We're Sports Time. We're with you for the next 3 hours and a lot to get into today. A lot of Olympic action, some Major League Baseball, a little bit of everything. Also some football as it's Hall of Fame game day, as that will happen later tonight on ESPN and ABC. So definitely a lot to get into over these next 3 hours. But Brett, how are you this afternoon?
I'm doing great, Brian. You're right. In Canton, they're getting ready for football tonight. I think you're going to need the old proverbial scorecard at home to check some of the lineups after about the first or second series even.
Yeah, maybe even if that.
Maybe if that, it will be very interesting of the quarterbacks that are in at the end of the game. There is a real chance at the end of the game tonight it could be Eastern Kentucky versus Western Kentucky.
Wow, how
with
about
Tim
that?
Boyle versus Austin Reed.
Wow, count me in. I would love to see that. So yeah, it is a little disappointing that the starters aren't playing, but I do like the backup quarterbacks on both these teams. So I'm excited for tonight. And at the end of the day, football is football. So I'll watch it any way I can get it.
Somebody's got to play, and somebody's got to play 60 minutes.
Yeah, that's right. So as long as we got football tonight, count me in. So I'm really looking forward to it. 7 o'clock tonight on ESPN and ABC, which kind of threw me off a little bit with that game usually being on NBC. But obviously we know what's on NBC tonight, and so, no, it's going to be a lot of fun.
It will be something to see tonight's TV ratings.
Yeah.
And just see if other than being first, the throwaway NFL exhibition game of the year can beat the Olympics in primetime.
Yeah, that's going to be a really good question, and going to be some good stuff with the Olympics on tonight on primetime. I know Simone Biles winning another gold. That will highlight tonight. I believe Katie Ledecky and the other women are going for the relay this afternoon as well. I don't know if that's already happened or not. So plenty of good stuff to watch. I know fencing just won gold. The U.S. fencing team just won gold. So it's going to be a gold night for the Olympics on NBC.
And I asked you yesterday, had Katie Ledecky made given any signal for 2028 in Los Angeles? She's 27. Mm-hmm. Her first Olympics was when she was 15.
Wow!
And she has said she is up for 2028 in Los Angeles.
Awesome. I'm here for it. As long as she feels like she can swim, I want to see her swim because she is just incredible at what she does. I mentioned yesterday when it comes to women's records in that 1,500-meter event, she holds the top 20 best times ever, so it's really impressive to watch her.
Is this it for Simone Biles?
I think so. I think this will probably
be getting close.
Close. And if it is, an unbelievable Olympic career for her. And like I said, won gold again today in the all-around individual event earlier today. So she is unbelievable to watch. And, so it'll be interesting to see what that conversation's like.
Did you watch any of the golf?
I did not, no.
I watched a lot. Got up fairly early, watched a lot. And Hideki Matsuyama, who so many thought would win at the Tokyo Olympics, his home country, 3 years ago in 2021, he went out 8 under today, had a great round that they ate the golf course up. It was pretty benign and very gettable and a lot of great scores. Xander Schauffele right there too, though. And, if he continues on this torrid stretch down the end of the year, including, maybe something here at the BMW or in Atlanta at the Tour Championship, look out, Scotty Scheffler. Not so fast on Player of the Year. No,
absolutely. I mean, what he's done with 2 major wins.
That's unthinkable at one point in the year.
Yeah, I mean, it's incredible. I mean, just this year we were having the conversation of, will Xander ever be able to win the major? And then he finally got through.
Tiger.
And then Xander gets through, wins his first major, wins another major, and now, at least after day one's in good position for maybe an Olympic medal. So, yeah, that would be an incredible year for him if he's able to do that.
Kirby Smart met with the media at their media day and made it official that Ra Thomas dismissed from the team. Mm-hmm. I don't think he lands anywhere until charges dropped, case adjudicated, he's formally cleared, anything like that. But we know a lot of times in some very sordid domestic family violence type cases that things have a way of going away, and stories get recanted. Stories, as it goes forward, he had this similar charges once before, and it went away mostly kind of through a diversion process with the authorities there. I don't know that he can count on getting that fortunate again, and it could very well go to trial. But if it is dropped, I don't know that Kirby Smart can take the PR hit at Georgia if it's dropped. If it was dropped today, I don't think he can.
No.
But if it's dropped before football season, Ra Thomas is going to be on a team.
Yeah, I think you're right, and
I don't know if technically, rule-wise, he can play in the SEC. I don't know if he can transfer to an SEC place.
Yeah, that's I don't know how the rules work. I know it's definitely too late to enter the portal and get somewhere, but I don't know how it works with being dismissed from a team. I hope everything, justice and all that great stuff. But I would be very disappointed one way or the other if Ra Thomas is playing football at a high level this year. Just because, like you said, I mean, a lot of times, I'd be surprised too. But like you said, Brett, a lot of times with these situations, they're very tricky. They have a way of working themselves out for the person that is being accused. And so, unfortunately, I wouldn't be surprised if this went away. And
of all the jobs out there in the world, I don't know that I'd want to be a domestic violence type lawyer or judge or prosecutor and dealing with all that, because a lot of emotion.
Oh, absolutely.
And often very sordid.
Very. And so, I don't know what it looks like these next couple of months, but I'd be, if somehow there's a way for him to play, I'd be very disappointed if he's playing for a program at a high level. So we'll just have to see. But, these are really serious charges, and, hopefully.
They are.
Hopefully, whatever happens,
and we need those lawyers. We need those court officials. I just don't know that.
I'm just not qualified for it.
No,
exactly. I don't want to be in that position.
There was I knew of a famous small town lawyer, and you could go to him and on a divorce, and he would ask you, you want it simple or you want it messy? And simple was $5,000, messy was 10.
Oh, that's great. Oh, that is awesome. Yeah, no.
And he played for keeps.
Yeah, well, good for him. I hope he gets his money. Not for me. No, lawyering in any sense is not for me. Certainly not that type of lawyering, though. So,
and I think Kirby Smart has. I think he has a handle on this. He better have.
Yeah, oh yeah.
As we have talked about this, I don't think anything can derail him on the field.
Right. No, I mean he looks like the most dominant coach.
He's going to be in those playoffs.
Yes,
as far as I can see,
yes.
As long as he's there.
Yes,
47, 48 years old. And,
oh yeah,
another 10-year stretch of it. He's going to be in it a lot.
Oh, definitely.
But those fans, those boosters, those administrators, that board of trustees, they don't like stuff like this.
No, they don't, and it's been a lot. They have been in the headlines for a lot of bad reasons lately, and so you're right. This would be the only thing that could stop it. It's not just us talking about it. I mean, everywhere across the country, people are talking about, Kirby's great coach on the field, but what's going on, off the field with these players. And so, I know a lot of people are taking what he said at SEC Media Days, where they're now fining, and, take that however you want to take it. I don't think it is either. But something definitely has to change in that Georgia locker room. No.
And Brian, you're right. It is national, and it's a lot of scrutiny. And the fair side of it is he cannot be with 100 players and 40 staffers every single waking moment.
Right.
But ultimately, the buck stops with the guy in the big corner office that's making $12 million.
That's right,
and he knows that.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about it with a lot of coaches. Whatever it is, at the end of the day, they're the head coach, and a lot falls at their feet. And so, this is
those
one of them.
administrators that will run at the first sign of bad publicity are also the ones knocking people over to get in front of the team championship picture.
That's right. Yes, got to be right there in the front, Brett. You want to make sure your face is in all the papers.
Tweeting machines when things are going well,
That's
and
right.
then radio silence at any controversy.
Of course. Brett, I'll be honest. Watching these Olympics, I've had a lot of fun watching them.
I have too.
A lot of great stuff.
I knew I would.
I knew I did. I would too. I love the Olympics. But there is one issue I have watching these Olympics, and it's one that I hate to bring up. I'm not happy that I'm having to bring this up because I was really excited about this event. The 3-on-3 basketball, Brett. Both United States teams, men's and women,
are struggle bus.
Are 0-3.
Yeah.
How does that happen?
That's more than struggle bus.
Way more than struggle bus.
Struggle bus broken down.
Yes.
And going down through the 2-lane road through Death Valley.
That's right. And I just don't really understand. I want to know, and maybe I guess it's something I can look up and find the answer to.
Heads should roll.
Maybe
3-on-3. I can't match you with the enthusiasm.
I'm about to start calling.
Okay.
Wow. Let's give a round of applause. Finally, we won a game. USA women's
progress
over Spain.
That's off the struggle bus.
So they're 1-3, Brett. I mean, how much better is that really? Men's getting ready to go. Jimmer Fredette did not play in the game this morning. He's got a little bit of an injury.
He can't guard anybody in 3-on-3.
Here's my question, Brett. What are the qualifications to be on the 3-on-3 team? Because I feel like
basketball player.
I feel like we should have pretty good basketball teams, whether it's traditional basketball or 3-on-3 basketball.
Now, could we send college players to be on 3-on-3? Could we send?
I would assume so. I mean, Haley Van Lith is still a collegiate player. She played at LSU last year. She's going to be playing for TCU this year. She's on the women's 3-on-3 team.
Why don't we send? They are. I know no NBA player would kind of want that slide.
No. But, I mean, you're telling me we can't either find college players or international guys?
Cameron Boozer?
I mean, that's a great question. I mean, there are players that are playing internationally at a high level that I guarantee you, if you told them, hey, come represent the USA in 3-on-3 basketball, they'd say absolutely. And the biggest problem, Brett, it's such a fast-paced game, 3-on-3 is, I feel like three-point making is a big deal in 3-on-3, and Jimmer Fredette's the only guy Team USA has that can knock down threes. It's ridiculous. I mean, his team's awful. I hate it.
I'm going to show my literal ignorance, the lack of knowledge of the sport. Is 3-on-3 full court?
No, it's just half court. And so it's
is there a certain line you got to get the rebound and go out back behind?
Got to go back behind
like
3-point line. Exactly, 3-point line, and then you're good. And so it's very fast paced. I mean, if you make a shot,
I'm guessing.
I love 3-on-3 basketball.
Easy 42 years since I last played 3-on-3.
Yeah, I mean, you might be right. But here's the thing,
I was
Brett,
a screen setter and a defensive guy. That was it.
Well, you need those. And Team USA doesn't have either, it feels like. But
I told you my nephew's story about playing 3-on-3 in a league in Tuscaloosa with Chris Carter and his son.
Wow, I do remember that. Yeah, Duran Carter, how about that?
With Duran one summer in very competitive league. And Chris Carter in that whole, and he is, I love Chris Carter, and he was in that full, come on man kind of voice. And he said, listen to me. He said, here's your job. Set screens, play defense. Duran and I are doing all the shooting.
That's all we need from you. I'd take it.
You're to never shoot.
It works for me. That's awesome. Well, the thing about, and this is not how I've ever played 3-on-3, so it's very interesting, very fast-paced. If you make a shot, Brett, you get the rebound. The other team gets the rebound. They just swing it out to the 3-point line, and we're going. We're not checking up or anything, which is how I always play it. I mean, you're going. You get the rebound, you dish it out real fast, and we're going again. So you're moving fast.
So there's no reset.
No, there's no reset. It's constant.
Well, that's how we play.
They'll call fouls and stuff like that, and you'll get a reset. But it's not like make a bucket. All right, now we're going to check up at the top of the key. We're constantly moving, so it's interesting. It's fun to watch.
When you were at the University of Memphis in intramurals or anything, or rec league, did they have a 3-on-3 league?
I don't remember ever a 3-on-3 league. I know that we had regular basketball.
We had regular basketball and 3-on-3 at Fayetteville.
Wow.
I don't know that 3-on-3 was under the guise of intramurals, though. I think it was something else.
Interesting. Yeah,
we had a league.
3. Yeah, I don't remember 3-on-3. Maybe they did have it, and I just didn't know about it. But 3-on-3 is fun to watch, but it's too bad neither of the U.S. teams are.
Do you remember
good.
the Final Four team for Loyola in 2018?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And their good little guard, Ben Richardson?
Absolutely.
His dad, Dave Stretch Richardson, was the superstar of intramural basketball in my years at Fayette.
Really?
From Overland Park,
wow.
Kansas.
I love that. That's great. I don't know what I love more.
He was the Larry Bird of our league.
I think I love more the fact that you remember who the best player in your intramural league in college
is. I kept up with Dave through the years, and then when Ben and I went to San Antonio and I was with him. That's when I met Sister Jean.
Oh, wow. I did not know you've met Sister Jean.
Oh, I had the formal laying on of hands.
How about that?
Or I shook her hand.
Well, either or. It's
wasn't
big time.
Sacrament or blessing.
But hey, that's big time nonetheless. We got plenty to talk about today, so let me set up today's show before we get to top and not top story of the day. 3:30, we'll talk some more Olympics. A lot happening in the Olympics today. We've got swimming, we had gymnastics, we've got some basketball. Women's basketball going on right now as they're up 59-51 over Belgium with about a minute left in the third quarter. So we'll talk Olympics in our next segment. 3:45, we'll talk some baseball, a very limited slate of games today on a Thursday. No day games either, all night games with the first couple getting started here about 5:30 or so. 4 o'clock, Keith Smith from Spot Track and the Front Office Show will join us to talk the NBA. Plenty to talk about with him as the Grizzlies finally got a deal with Luke Kennard done yesterday. We'll talk about what he thought of that one-year deal. Some other things going on in the NBA also. The U.S. men's basketball team will get his thoughts on what they've done in France. 4:30, we got to talk the NFL because we've got a game tonight, the Hall of Fame game tonight, 7 o'clock between the Bears and the Texans on ESPN and ABC. We'll talk about that. Some other news around the league in training camp as well. 4:45, we'll get to big number of the day. 5 o'clock, Greg Gaston will join us to talk some Tigers. At 5:30, we'll talk about what's trending. And at 5:45, wrap up today's show like we always do with Crunch Time. Let me remind you, we're in our Family Leisure Studios where family and fun come together. Summer is here, and it's time to party, and Family Leisure has great deals like the 24-foot above-ground pool for $19.99. All ladders, filter systems, and robotic cleaners, 20% off. Select in-stock patio furniture up to 50% off. Play gyms up to $1,000 off, and patio umbrellas 20% off. Also, the 4-person hot tubs only $29.99. And don't forget about discounted pricing on all in-stock pool toys and floats while supplies last. So head over to Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40.
He's Bryant and I'm Brett, and as Bryant said, we are in our Family Leisure Studios. There we are all the time, every day from wherever we are, and we want you to be a part of our show by calling or texting us at 901-360-8255. That's the Sissy's Log Cabin text and talk line. All our guests will appear on that very same number, 901-360-8255. On the Sissy's Log Cabin guest line, this hour of our show brought to you every day by Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and online at lexusofmemphis.com. Great offers on all 2024 models and always special leasing options. Drive in luxury and confidence knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Call them at 901-334-9673, but stop by the one and only Lexus dealership in town at 2600 Ridgeway and put yourself in the driver's seat of the all-new 2024 flagship LS500, and you'll be looking and driving in style. Lexus of Memphis offering the Golden Opportunity Sales Event. When you purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design they make for the luxury driving experience. Online at lexusofmemphis.com. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
Well, my top story of the day has got to be Major League Baseball, as we're starting to see these teams try to figure out who they are and what they want to be after the trade deadline. I mentioned tonight's slate, not very big with it being a Thursday, usually a more limited slate on Thursdays. So we, I think, have 5 games tonight, including the Cardinals, who go up against the Cubs. Sonny Gray versus Shode Managa should be a really, really fun matchup to watch. And this is a series that I'm sure the Cardinals are going in there hoping, wanting, feeling like they can take advantage against a Cubs team that has really struggled. And with the Cardinals sitting at 56-52, Brett and I have talked about it. This isn't a great or a very good Cardinals team. This is a mediocre and okay Cardinals team, but they are definitely still in contention for a wild card spot, and so you got to feel against the Cubs, a team that has really been struggling. They're now 52-58 on the season. You can really make up some ground against this team. They'll need a good night tonight from Sonny Gray against Shode Managa, who's been really, really solid all season for the Cubs. That's right, 2 aces going tonight for both teams. Then tomorrow we'll get to see the newest pitcher for the Cardinals, Eric Fetty, as he'll throw tomorrow afternoon in the 1:20 game. But I do want to go back to yesterday's game for the St. Louis Cardinals. Michael McGreevy, we talked about it a little bit yesterday during the show, but he goes out, he gets called up from Memphis and gets placed in immediately as a starter for the Wednesday game, and he goes out there and looks really, really solid, picking up the win in his first start. 7 innings, 5 hits, 1 earned run, 1 walk, and 3 strikeouts. We talked about, you need him to go, 5, 6 preferably innings in that game yesterday. He gives you 7 extremely strong innings, and then the bats were working behind him. So it feels like you look at these last couple of games, Cardinals are playing well. We'll see if they can carry that into the weekend, starting tonight against the Cubs.
Don't you know that was a happy dinner somewhere in St. Louis last night?
Absolutely.
For him with his parents and friends and wanting to know the big leagues. Now he's headed back to Memphis, isn't he?
I think so, yes.
I think so. I think he has been sent back to Memphis. My top story, game day in Canton for the Chicago Bears and the Houston Texans. Hall of Famers to be Andre Johnson, Devin Hester played for these 2 teams. Devin Hester for the Bears and Andre Johnson for the Houston Texans. Julius Peppers had 4 years with the Bears, and Steve McMichael, part of that dominant 1985 Bears defense. Stephon Diggs' debut for the Texans, I think, probably will wait. I don't think you'll see much of him, if any, tonight. Texans are really deep at wide receiver. The new kickoff rule will make its debut tonight. I'll be watching. It's America's #1 sport, NFL football.
Not top story of the day.
Well, that's my not top story of the day, as we've got football tonight. Real American football. I put up the argument to John, we've had football since June up in Canada, but they do things a little bit differently.
We had UFL back to April.
We did have UFL, but those weren't Thursday nights.
It's been very little this year without football.
Oh, you're absolutely right. With the spring leagues, with Canada, I mean, we've gotten a lot of football, and it's been fun to watch. I've definitely enjoyed all of it. But tonight starts the NFL unofficially with the Hall of Fame game. Brett, like you mentioned, it will not be a lot, if any, starters for either teams. Both coaches have made it very clear that they do not intend on playing their starters tonight in Canton, but who cares? Everybody will still be tuned in. Obviously, a lot of intrigue, like you mentioned, with the new kickoff rules. What will it look like? I'm sure there will be a lot of special team coordinators around the league wanting to watch this first game, seeing how it plays out in an NFL game, even if it is reserves or backups in there. They want to see what this looks like, how they can tinker their special teams units to try to take advantage of these new rules. So everybody will be watching that. I'm sure you'll get a lot of takes on social media tomorrow morning when you wake up and watch ESPN and NFL Network. I'm sure everybody will have takes on what the new kickoff rules look like and how they feel about them. But I'm just going to enjoy tonight. We'll probably gamble on the game, which will definitely make it fun. But at the end of the day, football's back, and that's a great feeling.
Good luck with the wagering on the Hall of Fame game. My top story, round 1 of Olympic golf was stopped for rain, and then they finally were able to finish up. Defending gold medalist, PGA winner, British Open winner, Xander Schauffele with a great first round. He is 6 under, but leading Hideki Matsuyama, past Masters champion, and he wanted to win it in the home country a few years ago. Maybe he can win it in Paris. We will see if Xander Schauffele can pull off the end-of-the-year run to catch Scottie Scheffler for Player of the Year.
Yeah.
He takes gold medal he takes one of the two events before Atlanta, either Memphis or the BMW, and then wins in Atlanta, he's player of the year, isn't he?
Oh, yeah. I think absolutely. So it'll be fun.
Hideki Matsuyama, 8 under, Xander Schauffele, 6 under, Joaquin Niemann, Emiliano Grillo, Tom Kim, all 5 under. And it, as they say, a host of golfers at 4 under.
Oh, yeah. So it looks like it's shaping up to be a really, really eventful tournament for these great golfers at the Olympics. But that'll do it for top and not top story of the day. Let's go ahead and get to our first break. And when we come back, we'll talk more about everything that's happened today at the Olympics. That's next on Sports Time.
Be sure to follow us at Sports56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows. Stay up to date with station events and have chances to win prizes. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Follow us at Sports56 WHBQ.
Chris Price here for Brian Elder Roofing. For nearly 2 decades, we've installed some of the best roof systems across the Mid-South. To the tens of thousands of clients we've served, we are honored. So many of you call our team at Brian Elder Roofing your roofers. Our team is dedicated to serving you and keeping your family safe, dry, and mold-free. The recent hailstorms have caused massive damage, and many of these will go unnoticed for years, even though the golf ball-sized hail we just experienced in the Mid-South compromises even the best-built roof system. Whether we find damage or not, your photos are securely stored for future reference. Call Brian Elder Roofing today for a total evaluation of your entire roof system free. We will not try to sell you a roof if all you need is a repair. Call me at 901-867-0303. That's 901-867-0303. Or visit us online at brianelderroofing.com. Sports and Mexican food, you can get the best of both at Los Cabos Mexican Bar and Grill on Summer near Graham. Watch all the big games on all the big TVs on all the walls at Los Cabos and enjoy premium tequila shots anytime for just $5.50. Celebrate every day with lunch specials from 10 to 3 and happy hour from 3 to 8. Lunch is just $6.75 to $10.99 and margaritas start at $3.99. Experience real Mexican cuisine along with great sports at Los Cabos on Summer near Graham.
Guess what, people? Wendy's has new saucy nugs. You heard me. Wendy's nugs now come in 7 saucy flavors. Buffalo, honey barbecue, garlic parm, spicy ghost pepper. You can literally hear your taste buds after every bite. I'm serious. Listen to mine. Okay, that's just me playing with sound effects, but you got the idea. For a whole new way to nug, gotta be Wendy's.
Participating U.S. Wendy's.
Genesis Diamonds is opening up the vault with our largest GIA Diamond event ever. Starting Saturday for a limited time, all our GIA Diamond engagement are down 20%.
That's 20% below Genesis' already unbeatable price. This means you can buy like a dealer does with deep discounts and over $10 million in stunning diamond rings.
Savings are in the GIA Diamond. In the half carats to 20 carats, all shapes, too. Prices are
Golfers on the PGA Tour are coming to Memphis to kick off the FedEx Cup playoffs at the FedEx St. Jude Championship. Sports 56 and 98.5 FM will be broadcasting live at TPC Southwind throughout the day, Wednesday through Friday of tournament week, keeping you up to date with the latest tournament news. Our coverage from TPC Southwind and Sports 56 and 98.5 FM is brought to you by Landers Ford in Collierville. Also sponsored by Sissy's Log Cabin, First National Bank, Monty Grizzani's, Banyan Tree Realtors, DeSoto Honda, Jim's Place, and South Haven Supply. This Sports 56 traffic report is brought to you by Luttrell Belting. They keep you moving.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. It's pretty busy around the zoo this afternoon as that traffic increases on Sam Cooper going outbound. Looks pretty good over here at the moment. Knock on wood here on 240 East from Mill Branch all the way out to 385 Bill Morris Parkway. Havenly Showers is your curbless shower specialist. Transform your bathroom with a tub curbless shower conversion. Check all this out at havenlyshowers.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 95 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats, Norsworthy, and Brian Gates.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Brian and Brett with you in our Family Leisure Studios. We've already talked a little bit about the Olympics and what we've seen today, but it's been a lot going on in France today with the Olympics. Brett, what has caught your attention the most today from Paris?
I think the big lead, the U.S. women's basketball team that they have, the lead they have with just about 4 minutes to play, it's never any doubt with them.
Yeah, no, it definitely is not.
It's dream team to the 10th power every time with them.
Yeah, no, they are definitely a solid team, and I saw some people saying that maybe this could be a tricky game for them against Belgium, and that this could get scary, but definitely not. I mean, they're making it look easy against them, and it looks like they'll cruise to another victory. So that's definitely fun, and kind of it takes me back to what I was saying earlier. We dominate in men's and women's regular basketball. How are we not dominating in 3-on-3 basketball? I mean,
it's fair to ask.
It's crazy to me, but I don't know how you're eligible for it. I don't know how they make the teams, whatever it might be. But yes, both men's and women's basketball teams have looked really good through their first two games.
When does track and field begin?
Begins this weekend. I think Saturday's the first day for like the actual track and field stuff. I think this morning they had walking took off. I watched a little bit of that. That started at 1 a.m. our time, so I watched a little bit of that early this morning, and then they had the women's right after that, and then I think tomorrow they do a couple of the other kind of more marathon-y races, and then Saturday we get like the actual sprints and stuff on track.
Beach volleyball on right now live.
Yeah. Beach volleyball has been going on all week. Fun to watch. I enjoy beach volleyball. I enjoy regular volleyball. I've been kind of paying attention to that this week.
Did you watch any of the handball last night?
I did not watch any of the handball yesterday. I have seen a little bit of it today. There was one, I think, really good handball match that I wanted to watch that I didn't.
Very physical.
Very physical. You're absolutely right.
The screens are some screens Greg
sure.
Popovich would envy.
100%. No, it's a fun sport to watch. That and water polo. There was a water polo match that I wanted to watch this afternoon against two really good teams, but I ended up missing it. So, but yeah, no, really good. Or no, it was field hockey I wanted to watch. I was trying to go through my schedule and see what it was. 2 3-0 field hockey teams matched up today. I missed it, so that's too bad.
10:33 p.m. in Paris for live sports there.
Wow, and still some to go. I know the men's 3-on-3 team plays again this afternoon. They start at 4, I think, so late nights in Paris.
Women's basketball on USA. I've got up the channels on the Olympic Experience.
Yeah.
And on E right now, and I like it. But I think the horse should be appreciated more.
Yes.
More equestrian.
Yes, equestrian. I saw a little bit of that this weekend. I'll be honest, equestrian, not a sport that I really circle on my calendar to watch.
It has to be judged, doesn't it?
It absolutely
Can't
has
be
to
a
be
scoreboard.
judged. No scoreboards in equestrian. But yeah, I mean, good stuff with the horse. I kind of don't like horses, but good
I don't
for them.
either.
Yeah, I'm not a huge horse person. Kind of scary, not gonna lie.
Yeah.
But that's it's fun to watch. I did see this earlier, Brett. I don't know if you remember last week us talking about
the cycling right now is great.
Oh, really? I didn't even know we had cycling on right now. That's awesome.
Look at that track.
Is it where I don't even know. I haven't even seen cycling, so I have no idea what it looks like. Yeah, I think BMX is today. Yes.
Okay.
I believe that's right. There are multiple types of cycling, but I do think you're right. Yeah, cycling BMX going on right now. Yeah.
Man, they're getting after it.
Is it men's or women's?
Too far away. I can't tell.
Okay. Yeah, no. Well, I know one started at 3, the other
the
started at
box is really
3:15.
small, and I'm really blind.
Yeah, I think it's women's. I think that should be women's, if my schedule is correct. But, Brett, I don't know if you remember last week talking about the Canadian staffer that was sent home because she was caught.
Connor Stallions of the Olympics.
Correct, flying a drone over the New Zealand practice. Well, they ended up sending the head coach home as well because they found out she was in on it. She ended up admitting to spying on opposing teams. And yesterday, she sent an email to the Soccer Federation because she's been hit with a 1-year ban in FIFA play. She sent an email to the federation, the Soccer Federation, accusing all of the top 10 women's soccer federations, including the United States, of spying on opponents and also cheating. So we have drama in women's soccer on a
I believe every word she says.
I mean, she's probably right, but also, how about this?
Well, I know human beings,
Exactly.
and I know competition. And,
Exactly.
And, well, you can't wave a towel without somebody having a drone these days.
I mean, everybody's got a drone. It's very popular right now for whatever reason. But despite being caught with a drone, despite getting a points penalty, Canada has made the quarterfinals, the knockout stage, in soccer. So,
well, they take the banner
congratulations to
down.
them.
We'll have to rescind medals.
That's a great question. I guess we'll have to worry about that if we get there. Because I don't know. I don't know if we're going to get to that point. I don't know how good Canada is. I haven't seen any of their games, unfortunately.
Rumor has it that Michigan's going to get hit hard.
Yeah, I've seen those. I've seen those. That any day now we could see the NCAA come out with the notice of allegations, and that it can
and
be.
Canada's going to get hit hard.
Oh yeah,
you can't get caught,
especially at the Olympics. I mean, come on, like. I understand like all cheating is bad, but it feels like there are like levels and tiers to bad cheating. Olympics is up there. Like when you're cheating
in Canada was not
international,
lone wolf.
No. Like I don't know if I believe that every single team is cheating.
I do.
To that extent. I do think every team's probably cheating, but I don't know to that extent. I do believe some of them were.
But when you get caught,
exactly,
you're going to have to pay.
You got to, and they're going to make. They got to make everybody else know that you can't get away with this, and so they're definitely going to punish.
What
USA
would be the
very
punishment?
hard.
Make them sit out 2028? What should be Michigan's punishment? They're not giving a trophy back.
No, for Michigan, I've seen like postseason bans or something like that. I just don't know how you would do that for soccer. Because for one, if it's anything like men's, this soccer team is not the same as the senior soccer team. But I guess maybe I say whatever the next big world tournament is.
That nobody will be watching because we're not watching again until 4 years.
Right. So whatever the next one is, say they can't compete in that, and then because in 4 years, pretty much nobody will be the same. The coaches might be the same, but none of the players will be the same.
The badminton was great last night. I knew there was something else I really liked.
Badminton. Badminton, it's very fast.
Very fast.
It's one I've tried to get into.
I can't enjoy ping pong too small and too fast.
Ping pong is extremely fast.
Too tight.
Very tight. Very impressive. But
it
yes,
almost looks like
one.
The outtakes of Forrest Gump. I mean, they're just too good.
No, they're incredible. Yes, those are two sports that I think I've probably watched more table tennis than badminton.
We're not supposed to call it ping pong?
Table tennis, ping pong, whatever you want to call it. I've just seen it so many times as table tennis on these schedules and stuff that I think it's kind of locked into my brain. I'll be honest, I haven't watched much of either of those, unfortunately. So,
I mean this seriously. This is not a slight, but back to our 3-on-3.
Sure.
Wouldn't Dalton Connect be made for this?
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. 100%.
Why not beef up the team in 4 years, those type of players coming out of the draft and start showcasing them, for NBA?
Sure. I mean, I would love that. Again,
we know who Dalton Connect is. Sure. There's a lot of NBA fans that don't.
Sure. And, it's a good question because, I can understand the argument of, well, you don't want to send your guys over there to play 3-on-3 basketball. We're sending guys over to play regular basketball.
Is there a height limit?
You know what, Brett? There might be. I don't think so, though, because I think USA has a guy that is not like super tall, but is
You send Dalton Connect,
taller.
Brandon Miller, and me, and we can win.
Yeah. I just want to. That's what I got to look up. I got to figure out how we're putting the teams together. Because right now, these teams, both of them, men's and women's, not cutting it. Because I mean, they're not even going to make the knockout stages.
No,
that's crazy.
It's failure.
It's absolutely failure. Which, I mean, again, 3-on-3 basketball, but I need more information about it.
I don't know if I want heads to roll, but we're going to play. We need to win.
Let's see. Opportunities and resources. Maybe this will tell me how they put together the teams. Yeah, I don't know. I got to figure it out.
I just don't know that current NBA, Brandon Miller, after a rookie year, I don't know if he'd want to go.
Yeah, see, I don't think they would want to. But I don't know. I mean, like you said, college players, I think certainly. There's other international players. Like, Jimmer Fredette's been playing internationally ever since he graduated. Or ever since he stopped playing in the NBA, which was, you missed it. You blinked, you missed it. And so I don't understand, like, how this team isn't better.
For anybody that's having a Olympics watch party or end of the weekend or a back-to-school event, start it with Jason's Deli. Whether you're dining in, getting it to go, or getting it delivered, wholesome food forever. It's a family thing at Jason's Deli. Over 200 Memphis area associates at all these great locations. I promise you that there's one close to wherever you are in our area on Ridgeway Road across from MUS. Poplar and Highland by the University of Memphis. Boy, that'll be hopping back to classes here soon. Down in Olive Branch, out in Cordova, and it's healthy. First franchise in the nation to be trans fat free. And it's all about choice, regardless if you seek a gluten-free menu, vegetarian sandwiches, healthy kids meals. You'll be delighted at Jason's Deli. And in all these locations, you can count on great service, great family atmosphere, and that salad bar with over 30 items to choose from. For you to prepare a salad however you'd like, catering anytime, anywhere, 5 or 5,000. And on these hot days like this, you can count on in every location complimentary free ice cream. Also on the menu, all the salad choices. And again, for anything catering, breakfast, lunch, or dinner, they've got it 5 or 5,000. Back to school time, back to good fun times, and real soon, tailgating. I bet jamborees start a week from this Friday night, or for sure in 2 Friday nights, so tailgating coming soon. Start that tailgate with Jason's Deli, and you can always check them out online as well at jasonsdeli.com.
How about this, Brett? I have found a story on CBSSports.com that is titled, "Why is Team USA so bad at 3-on-3 basketball?"
Heads roll.
How 2024 Olympics roster were built after men and women struggle. And basically it says that I guess there are 3-on-3 tournaments throughout the year that guys and girls play in, and you have to qualify and be ranked and participate in X amount of tournaments.
That knocks out NBA guys.
It knocks out everybody pretty much. But still,
let me name the team.
I would want to
let us name the team.
Yes, I do away with these.
Remember, we'll do that in 2028. We'll name the 3-on-3 team.
Name the 3-on-3 team, which will be way off because we won't know who's ranked and who's not ranked. Quickly before we get to a break, Simone Biles was awesome earlier today. She won another gold. She won it with the team event earlier this week. Now the individual event. Her 6th career gold medal. Also, Sunisa Lee, another American, won bronze in that same event. So definitely shout out to them. U.S. men's rowing team won gold in men's 4 rowing. So shout out to them as well. And then lastly, before we get to a break, a quick medal count if anybody is curious. Team USA still far in the lead with 37 total medals. They have now moved into second in gold medals. They have 9 gold, while the People's Republic of China has 11. The next closest in total medals to the 37 that the United States of America has is France with 27. So they hold a 10-medal lead over the next closest country, which is always good to see. But let's go ahead and get to another break, and when we come back, we'll talk some baseball.
We are real sports talk. Sports 56 WHBQ. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM and 98.5 FM, as well as around the world online at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, just say, Alexa, play Sports 56. Wherever you are, stay tuned in to real sports talk. Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Hi, this is James Stovall with Corky's Barbecue. We have been serving up our legendary barbecue for more than 39 years, right here in Memphis, Tennessee. Whether you're dining in, picking up in our drive-thru, or serving our famous barbecue at your office or home, with Corky's Party Pack, you are the hit of the party. Barbecue pulled pork, baked beans, coleslaw, barbecue sauce, and buns, starting at only $8.49 per person. And as you know, we send plenty of food. You never have to worry about running out of the store.
Corky's Barbecue.
Hi, this is James Stovall with Corky's Barbecue. We have been serving up our legendary barbecue for more than 39 years, right here in Memphis, Tennessee. Whether you're dining in, picking up in our drive-thru, or serving our famous barbecue at your office or home, with Corky's Party Pack, you are the hit of the party. Barbecue pulled pork, baked beans, coleslaw, barbecue sauce, and buns, starting at only $8.49 per person. And as you know, we send plenty of food. You never have to worry about running out of the store.
Texting enrolls you into reoccurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym. Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get. Could be lower testosterone. I went through it a while back. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me. I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real? Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Testanor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean. And it's made a difference for you? Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again. Work, in the gym, and in the bedroom. Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves? Yeah, you just need to send them a text. Text CAR to 42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast, absolutely free. Text CAR to 42424. That's CAR to 42424.
Products and statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or illness.
Savings. Now that's speaking the Lowe's language. And when you join My Lowe's Rewards for free, the savings just keep coming. Save money with member-only offers, plus earn points when you shop. More points equal more rewards, just for you. Because Lowe's knows you earned it, literally. Learn more about our loyalty program at Lowes.com/MyLowe'sRewards and become a member for free today. Program subject to terms and conditions. Points are awarded on eligible purchases. See Lowes.com/terms for full details. Subject to change.
Memphis, the playoffs are back. Come see the PGA Tour's best compete for the trophy, the FedEx St. Jude Championship, August 14th through 18th. Witness the drama as 70 players arrive in Memphis and only 50 move on. Tickets are on sale now at FedExChampionship.com.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Red Stats, Norsworthy, and Brian Gates.
So we've got a final score in women's basketball. Team USA with another win over Belgium. Breanna Stewart, they're interviewing her right now. 26.7 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 blocks. An unbelievable game for her. I'm not sure what the final score was because I wasn't paying attention, but I know they won big. Do you have the final score? What was it?
87-74.
Okay, good win for Team USA. Women, so now men's and women's are both 2-0. Good for them. But, Brett, we got to talk some baseball. Major League Baseball, a very limited slate tonight, with it being a Thursday. And we kind of talked about this during our first break, where maybe Major League Baseball missed out on an opportunity today. Instead of playing these 5 games at night, play them during the day. Now, it's an interesting question because I think there's going to be way more people tonight, obviously, that are going to be watching football and Olympics on NBC, but also there's so many people watching the Olympics live during the day. I know the event for gymnastics started at 11:30, I believe, or maybe 10:30. Swimming has been on this afternoon. So it's a good question of where should you put Major League Baseball right now, because I don't think they're going to have good ratings tonight with going up against both NFL and Olympics, but also I don't know how good of ratings they would get during the day going up against the Olympics as well, because I think the edge that baseball gets with playing day games when it comes to ratings is there's nothing else on when it comes to sports. They're standing alone as the sports that are on. So it's a very interesting question of if they should have played during the day today or just go with 5 games all at night.
And we're really not. I promise we're not cracking on baseball just because. I mean, it's the easiest thing in the world to do in sports talk radio is you go left, everybody scream, you should have gone right.
That's right.
And we're going to go over the Daily Memphian top 25 athletes of the 21st century later in the show. And lists are very hard, but I hope baseball executives, when they made the schedule, knew that Thursday, August 1st, would be an Olympic day and a Pro Football Hall of Fame game day.
Well, you definitely knew it was going to be the Olympics, right? That's been set for
3 years, 4
at
years,
least, I would think.
At least. And you kind of knew. You kind of knew. And the football schedule out in May or June?
Mm-hmm.
So that would have been harder, but you know about when it would be.
Sure, you knew when. And the thing
in
is,
these games tonight, Cardinals and Cubs, they sell out if they play it this afternoon at 1 or they play it at 7.
Yeah.
Orioles in Cleveland against Cleveland, I think about the same crowd if they play afternoon or night. Same for Royals and Tigers, not very good. Same for Marlins, Braves, pretty good in Atlanta. And the last game of the day, Rockies, Angels. Who cares what time it's played?
Well, that's a good point. And I think you look at any Thursday, Wednesday too, but really Thursday.
That's a day game.
There's always day games on Thursdays. And so it was shocking to me this morning when I'm looking at the slate for today, Major League Baseball, because I just assumed, okay, it's Thursday. We probably have 11:30, definitely a noonish game, and then probably like a 2:30 game. So when I went on there earlier today and I saw first game 5:30, 2 games at 5:30, I was blown away. So it's just, I don't know if there is a reason why there's absolutely 0 day games today.
Next Thursday, we have 4 day games.
Is that right?
Yeah.
So I just, and I'm sure.
But we have about 4 night games. There's
I was about to say
bigger depth and breadth of the schedule.
So it's interesting. I'm curious if maybe some teams tried to avoid a Thursday night game tonight because it's a Thursday and they knew Olympics would be going on around this time. I have no idea. But I am shocked, one.
It'll get slaughtered.
Oh, it 100% gets slaughtered.
Between NFL and Olympics.
And that's why I said, I don't know if they would do much better during the day because of the live sports going on in France. I think they would do a little better, but I just don't think they'd do anything.
Royals Tigers about 11:30 today Central Time.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. I would have put it at any time other than all at night. I think that's crazy, and I don't think they're going to draw very well. But hey, that's okay. And we'll see if they do. I would love to see, Brett. You said it earlier with just football. I'd love to see all the ratings for tonight. Football, the baseball, and the Olympics primetime coverage. I would love to see what they all look like.
Getting those regionals sometimes can take a few days.
Definitely, and I don't care
we'll
when we get
it,
but
we'll get NFL and Olympics. By this time tomorrow.
Oh wow! I didn't realize it was that quick of a turnaround. So yeah, I'm curious what those two look like against each other, and then what baseball looks like, because I don't think it's going to draw extremely well. Looking at those games, I'm definitely going to watch Cardinals and Cubs tonight, but I can't make any promises about the other games with the Olympics. Now I've watched most of the Olympic coverage today, so that kind of changes things for depending on what they're showing tonight. But with the Hall of Fame game tonight, I'm going to have a lot of attention on that, even though it's backups. I just don't see Major League Baseball drawing anything today.
So last night, Dylan Cease, he didn't make a run at Johnny Vandermeer, but he was really good.
He was really good.
And the Padres have is we caught on to around the time of his no-hitter a week or so ago, a little before that, they're hitting a good stride.
Yeah, they are, and it feels
they're going to catch Atlanta for that first wild card spot.
Yeah, it feels like we've been talking about this Padres team for a couple of weeks now as they start to turn things around, and last night needed extra innings to get that win over the Dodgers, but they still get the win. Excuse me, I'm looking at Tuesday. Last night was easy because what I wanted to bring up, Kershaw did not look very good in his second game back. We had talked about his first game. I think it was around the same, it had to have been around the same time Cease had his no-hitter. We were kind of talking about Clayton Kershaw had an outing and looked good, looked fine in being a first game back. But last night did not look very good against the Padres, and that's a big game, Dodgers and Padres. So hopefully Kershaw can bounce back. Obviously, coming back from such a major injury, and this is the first time he's pitched this season, these last two starts. So hopefully he can start turning things around. But last night, if you're a Clayton Kershaw backer, you did not feel confident with what he showed last night.
Couple of box score nuggets, and I just trust that this is accurate, but I'm pretty sure it's probably ticket sold and close enough. 47,000 at Petco for Dodgers and Padres, but the box score anomaly of the night, Giants win 1-0 over the A's in the reunion of the 1989 Earthquake World Series, 1-0 in 1 hour and 55 minutes.
Wow, that's a quick one. That's really quick.
I don't know if you got your value for $40 parking.
Well, think about, we always joke about the beer sales at those games, and they're cutting them off 7th, 8th inning. Woo, that quick one.
Sure is.
You better buy a handful at the beginning.
Have an hour?
Probably, maybe. That's rough. But no, you're right. I was watching that game last night, and you're right. A very, very quick one between the Giants and the Athletics. Very low scoring. How about this, Brett? Minutes away from seeing if Team USA men's 3-on-3 can get their first win at the Olympics. We've got a storm rolling through France. Stop everything. Everything's done for the time being, and
wait
maybe for the day.
How's that affecting basketball?
3-on-3?
Yeah,
outside. They've got a roof, but it's still outside. Yeah, so they just put the. I just saw it because I looked over and I see them. I thought they were like mopping the court, and I was like, "That's strange."
Well, that's throwback 1936 Olympics in Berlin outdoor.
Wow. We'll see. And this is only 3-on-3.
5-on-5.
See, this isn't the 5-on-5. This is only the 3-on-3. But they're putting out a tarp. I didn't know what they were doing, but it's a tarp, and then they went full wide shot of that big wide shot they have of the beach volleyball.
That's different.
And lightning striking in France. So who knows if we get these in? Because
I'm there now. I see it. Okay.
You said it was like, what, 10-something p.m. in France?
Getting late. Almost 11.
I don't know if we're going to get those events in tonight. We might have to push those
bedtime for me
to tomorrow.
Anywhere.
Definitely
way past
bedtime. Should be my bedtime, but I stay up a little too late sometimes. But that'll do it for our first hour. Let's go ahead and wrap up this one. When we come back to start our second hour, we got to talk a lot of NBA. We'll talk some Olympics basketball. Might even talk about the 3-on-3. If anybody can tell, I'm not happy with the way Team USA men's and women's 3-on-3 basketball has shown in the Olympics. So we'll talk a lot of basketball next with Keith Smith.
When the weather gets better, I found a new place to really soak it in. It's the patio at the commissary in Collierville. We all love the delicious Memphis-style barbecues. You can begin your barbecue fest with some great appetizers like the cheese plate or the tamales or the barbecue nachos. Oh, those smoked chicken wings, they're terrific too. Then dig into the ribs or the barbecue shoulder. Get it chopped or pulled on a sandwich. A big sandwich, or you can get it on a plate. You've got choice, and you've got choice in places. Don't forget the Germantown commissary as well. Comes with beans and slaw, deviled eggs they're famous for. And Brad, you can even order by the pound, a 6-pack or an 8-pack or even a 12-pack. The Boss Man salad, the chicken plate, the barbecue shrimp. There's something for everybody, and those great desserts. The best icebox lemon pie anywhere. or my favorite, the banana pudding. Check out the patio, TVs for sports, and music on the weekends. You love the commissary.
At Vanguard, you're more than just an investor, you're an owner. So whether you're planning for retirement or trying to save up for your next big adventure, Vanguard will work alongside you to set personalized investment goals. That's the value of ownership. All investing is subject to risk. Vanguard is owned by its funds, which are owned by Vanguard's fund shareholder clients. Vanguard Marketing Corporation, distributor.
At Blue Cross Blue Shield of Tennessee, they're proud to be here for their neighbors while giving back to communities across the state throughout the year, every year. This month, they're honored to stand alongside 1,600 dedicated volunteers as they make this year's annual FedEx St. Jude Golf Tournament fundraiser a resounding success. Giving back to St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital, which helps treat and defeat childhood cancer, is a meaningful effort that is very close to their hearts. This year, their goal is to reach $3 million in donations for kids at St. Jude's, and they couldn't do it without the support of their amazing volunteers. To all the participants, thank you for being a part of this most important endeavor to lift up so many families across the state from right here in Memphis, Tennessee. To read more about Team Blue volunteers, Blue Cross Blue Shield of Tennessee, Healthy Places, and other ways they're devoted to helping our communities, please visit bcbst.com.
If the woman of your dreams has been searching online for the perfect engagement ring, she's figured out there's a few brand names that are worthy of consideration. Hey, it's Eric Hasseltine, and she doesn't want a plain, ordinary cookie-cutter ring to wear the rest of her life. She wants a world-class designer ring, handcrafted by a true artisan that will hold value and stand the test of time. She's found Tacori, Verragio, Ajafi, Simon G., among other premium American-made designers. But when you try and find these exclusive rings, you quickly realize most stores don't offer them. They have knockoffs and lookalikes, kind of like those imitation bags and watches on the streets of New York City. But there is one jeweler where you can find the real deal, Genesis Diamonds. Genesis has been chosen by all the most sought-after designers. Genesis is your exclusive home for these iconic brand names that define excellence. Other stores can only dream of being able to offer these, but only Genesis has them. So be careful. Don't settle for anything less than the ring she is worthy of wearing. Genesis Diamonds at Poplar and Perkins Extended.
Is your wife asking you to stop eating junk food? Well, we have you covered at Humdinger's. It's quick and it's healthy, and most important, it tastes amazing. With many choices from salmon salad to rainbow trout and grilled asparagus. Come visit us for lunch at Humdinger's, 6300 Poplar Avenue. So good, Coach Penny eats with us weekly. Don't forget, Humdinger's offers full-service catering for weddings, social events, or your corporate lunches. You can call 901-260-8292 to find out more.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. A couple of disabled vehicles out here getting some attention with TDOT and those help trucks moving right now. I-40 West passing Danny Thomas, continuing across the Hernando de Soto Bridge back over into West Memphis. There is some volume from time to time in this construction when it's trying to play tricks on us this afternoon. Sometimes it's slow, 55 northbound between Macklemore and South Parkway. Then we look over there again and it's moving right along. Hey, Weimer's Jewelry, 7525 Highway 64 is your full-service, family-owned jewelry store right here in Memphis. Go by and see them now. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Oh, yeah. Time to talk NBA with Keith Smith from Spot Rack and the Front Office Show. And on Twitter X at Keith Smith NBA. Here's Keith Smith talking basketball with Bryant and Brett.
Keith Smith joins us now to talk the NBA from Spot Track and the Front Office Show. He joins us now. Plenty to get to, some off-season news, and obviously the Olympics. Keith, thanks so much for joining us. I got to start off with the biggest story here locally. Luke Kennard back with the Grizzlies. You've told us for weeks and weeks, don't be worried about it. They're just working everything out, that you thought he would ultimately be a Grizzly and it'd be nothing to worry about. We finally have the answer. 1 year, $11 million deal. What did you think about this deal, him returning to the Grizzlies? I know a lot of people have talked about it just being a 1 year deal, it being $11 million. What was your take on everything when it regards to Luke Kennard and this new contract?
Yeah, him returning back to Memphis, no surprise at all to me. I thought that that's where this was headed for quite some time. They only being a 1 year deal, that's a little bit of a surprise, but we've seen a lot of veteran guys. It's trended that way for several of them. For Luke Kennard's sake, he didn't have to take a minimum, which a lot of guys did. And then, for Memphis, this is a great get. If you look at, I'm going to steal a football term here, but if you look at the two deep for them at each position, they're pretty solid now, right? If you look at it, they've got good players, all throughout that rotation. So they're in pretty good shape, I think, going into this season. Healthy, you've got a nice mix of guys. You needed Kennard shooting because that roster needed one more shooter, and now they've got it. And if they can keep him healthy, I think they're ready for a big bounce back season.
Keith, I love the Grizzlies roster if healthy. If everything goes well, if it's more 2 and 3 years ago than it was last year, is that the homer in me, or is it accurate?
No, I think that's accurate. I've been, a lot of people have been asking, all right, things have kind of wrapped up, or things have, more or less shaken out. What do you think at the top of the West? And, you get Oklahoma City and Denver and Minnesota, and then some will throw in, Dallas in the mix there. And I keep telling people, I'm like, I would not discount the Grizzlies. I think collectively people kind of forgot about them because last year was such a forgettable, messy season. But just a couple of years ago, this team was on the rise, and it's all the same guys. And you almost got to believe they can't go through this again with these guys, with this kind of injuries and the like. And if they do, then there's clearly going to be a need to make some changes on the roster because you can't keep locking into the same guys if they're not going to be there. But you're absolutely right. If they're healthy and they're ready to go and there's no nonsense that's getting guys suspended and keeping them off the floor, that this team is deep. They're versatile. They've got a lot of guys, and I think they're going to be a very good team.
What would you rather make the argument for? That Denver is maybe taking a little toggle backwards, or are they about the same or maybe a little ahead?
I think they're definitely backwards. I think losing Kentavious Caldwell-Pope is a huge loss for them. When healthy, if we want to continue down that vein, they were the best starting five in the league for a couple years running with Jokic, Gordon, Porter, Murray, and Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. Now Caldwell-Pope's out of the mix. He's off to Orlando, and they're going to have to figure it out. Christian Brown should step in. I always say this about the NBA. It's rarely about the next guy. Unless it's a super-duper star that you lose, then you're just you got to figure it out. But when it's a role player, you generally have another role player who can step in and play well. But then who's behind that guy? Who's backfilling him? And that's where the Nuggets have some questions. They went with a lot of young players the last couple of years trying to figure it out, whether it be Peyton Watson or Julian Strawther, or even a little bit further down the depth chart, guys like Jalen Pickett and Hunter Tyson. And for various reasons, those guys haven't fully worked out. Peyton Watson looks like he's going to be a defensive contributor, but I don't know, what we'll see beyond that out of him. And then Julian Strawther, they've got high hopes, but he's largely an unproven second-year guy. So they've got some stuff to figure out. I liked the Dario Saric ad, even if I do think they overpaid for him a little bit. I like the Russell Westbrook ad, but I would have liked it a lot more if they had just kept Caldwell-Pope and maybe filled in with one of those guys the other way.
Mm-hmm. I saw over the weekend Tyus Jones signed a 1-year deal with the Suns. What do you see his role being with that team? And then kind of a larger question when it comes to the Suns, what do you make of the roster they have right now going into the season? Because I think last year a lot of people excited about what the Suns could do, and then it kind of turned into you had 3 All-Stars that were great when you could get them on the court together, but we rarely saw that because of injuries, and the rest of the team was kind of made up of role players that struggled throughout the year. So what do you think this Suns team looks like going into this upcoming season?
Yeah, I think starting out with Tyus Jones, what a great get for them. Getting him on a minimum contract, even if it's only for 1 year, that's fine. They're kind of in year-to-year mode anyway, because that's what you almost need to be when you have that expensive of a team with those 3 superstars and Durant, Booker, and Beal taking up so much of taking up all of your cap space between the 3 of them and pushing you over the second apron. So that was a great get. his role sounds like he's going to start. It sounds like that was the commitment, was that he would come in. I think they went through last year and kind of realized, all right, we need a real point guard on this team. So they got Monte Morris earlier in the offseason. Now they're bringing in Tyus Jones. That's two really solid guys that I think are going to really help them do some stuff. Now, Grayson Allen's still there. Sounds like he'll get pushed into a bench role, but he'll play plenty. And I think we can safely say that between Beal, Booker, and Durant, there's going to be some missed games in there. So that's where their depth comes in. I thought they did a nice job with Royce O'Neal's contract. I thought getting Mason Plumlee was a solid value add behind Yusuf Nurkic. And then I think their two draft picks, rather, Ryan Dunn and Oso Iguodala, they might have been the two best defensive players in this entire draft class. So to get those two guys, that I think got the potential to help them in certain moments. Neither one of them is probably overly ready to be a big part of the offense. I think Iguodala is farther ahead because he's a pretty good playmaker. He more knows what he is. Dunn's shot just needs a lot of work. But I think the Suns are in a place to have a better season than last year. The question for them, though, is going to be health. And the Western Conference is so deep, they may be a better team, but it may not really show up in the standing.
Yeah. I saw earlier today Gordon Hayward has announced he's retiring from basketball after a 14-year NBA career. How will he be remembered by basketball fans?
Yeah, unfortunately, I think a lot of people are going to remember it the way, first thing that comes to mind for me and a lot of Celtics fans is the what if of Gordon Hayward with the broken leg 5 minutes into his first game with Boston. There's that's one of those ones where it's really a famous, round of what ifs of, what could that have been? If he stays healthy, is that team really good? Are they a lot better than what we thought they were going to be? Are they, contenders even right out of the gate? And on the flip side, it is, well, if Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown don't get all kinds of minutes, do they develop as early as they did? Do they become the guys who ultimately led the Celtics to a title? So there's kind of a, one of those, wow, that's a real what if moment there. If we step back though a little from that, just a really good all-around player, a guy who was, well on his way to being, I don't know if he's going to definitely make the Hall of Fame, but he might have been in the conversation for that. I think a lot of people don't realize how good of an all-around player he was. He was 20, 25 points per game, that good passer, good rebounder, better than he ever got credit for defender, but just, that kind of, took things out. And I was a little caught off guard with the retirement. I know it didn't work out with the Thunder, but I thought he had some good years with the Hornets. But my guess is he just didn't want to do it anymore. And once you hit that point, better to just not do it than take a contract from a team and realize, a few weeks in, I don't really want to do this, because the way the NBA works, it's not like the NFL where you just kind of walk away and that's it. You're now taking up cap space and everything else, and that becomes rough for a team to deal with.
Keith, you know it probably as well as anyone, and all these cases I'm going to make as a case for are not the same. But for what appears to be easy for the Celtics all these years and all this winning, they have had some real unfortunate to nightmarish events. Reggie Lewis, Lynn Bias, the injury to Hayward. Wasn't Vin Baker with them when at lockout time?
Most of his issues happened before the team got him.
Okay.
And then he had, unfortunately, I think a relapse, if you will, after he left the Celtics. But clearly he wasn't, what he was at that point either. But yeah.
But they've had some real, bad cases of things happen. They've had a lot of good fortune too, but Reggie Lewis and Lynn Bias, notably horrible.
Yeah, absolutely. It made, there was the point made, when this is the luckiest team in the league last year, that, the basketball gods love the Celtics. And I'm like, in my lifetime, I, saw Larry Bird's career get ruined because he decided to tar his own driveway rather than pay someone to do it. That started all of his back issues, and that, put him, his career was never the same after that. Kevin McHale broke his foot in '87, and then his career was never really the same, even if he was a good player after that. And then, like you said, Len Bias passing away in '86. I was young, but I have very fond memories of being so excited because we'd heard, that they're trying to get this guy, and this guy's going to be a thing. And I remembered watching him in some of his college games, and I was like, we're going to have like a Michael Jordan, like a guy who runs and jumps and dunks. Like, I was so excited for that. And, unfortunately he passed away, and then Reggie Lewis, right in his prime. Again, another thing I remember exactly where it was. We were in the car on the way home from a summer league basketball game when that news broke that he had passed out during a workout. And then unfortunately it was that when we got home, we put the news on, and they broke in with a live report that he had passed away. Wow. And yeah, it's just, you have those. I mean, every franchise has their moments, but yeah, to say the folks who suggest the Celtics have lived, a very charmed life and, have never had any adversity, I highly encourage them to do a little bit of basketball history time on that.
Yeah. Talking to Keith Smith. He joins us every week from Spot Track and the Front Office Show to talk the NBA. 2 games down for Team USA in Paris at the Olympics. What have you made of what Team USA, what the men have done through their first 2 games?
Yeah, on the court, everything's going about as expected, right? They're handling their business. And I don't know that everybody expected them to blow out Serbia the way they did, but I think it was 26 points. Mm-hmm. But I didn't necessarily buy that Serbia was, as strong an opponent as some were making them out to be. I had them, well behind the United States, Canada. I thought they were behind Australia. I thought they might have been behind France, but France, they can't seemingly get out of their own way. And it's easy to see their pride not a real medal contender. And then I thought there's a good chance that they were going to be behind Germany, who's just got a strong team and program. And then, South Sudan, they made a run and made it a little close, but you saw, Team USA lock in and take care of business. Now we've got the Tatum stuff not playing in the first game. Joel Embiid didn't play in the second game. I think, Steve Kerr is having some struggles with this, ridiculously loaded group of trying to figure out the right balance to get guys minutes. And it's easy for everybody, who's home on their couch to say they should just be happy to be playing for Team USA and, all these things. And then, a bunch of people have, said to me, it's all about sacrificing for your country. And I'm like, they're not soldiers going off to war. Like they're playing basketball. It's like, let's not get too crazy with this. But I like to, think that Kerr will eventually figure out, like, all right, I know I've got 200 minutes. I've got to divvy him up, but he's got to find a way to get all these guys in. Every other Team USA coach has figured it out. The women win every game by 20, 30 points, and they get everybody in the games. There's no reason why he can't figure it out, too.
We said it earlier, what the women do, their dream team, 92 Barcelona, every year.
Yeah, every year. Yeah, it's unbelievable watching them play. I mean, that game where they played against Japan, it was like, it looked like, if a bunch of, women rolled up to an elementary school and just were like, all right, let's play. But that's just the size differential. That's always been one of the things that they've had going for them. And then you have just this loaded team there, too, of talent, and I really enjoy watching them play because they do so many good things on the court. And it's fun to watch some of them who really have developed these rivalries in the WNBA. It's like the carryover that we see on the men's side, where it's like, the fun thing was watching Bird and Magic team up, right, for the first time ever, and that sort of stuff outside of an all-star setting. And that it's been fun to watch that with the women's team as well. They are just so good.
Don't you know those practices leading up to Barcelona were great to watch?
Oh, 100%. I mean, the book that Jack McCallum wrote about the Dream Team, it's a must-read. It's one I go back to every couple of years in the summertime because it's just so good, so many things that he packed into that. And then the subsequent documentary, which was done a lot based off of his book, it pops up on NBA TV quite often, every once in a while. I think ESPN runs it too, and then that's got the footage of that famous practice where the guys really went at it in that one, and that is just the stories out of there is unbelievable. I would give anything to be able to go back and just spend that month or so with that group of guys because it sounds unbelievable.
Keith, what are you talking about? Summertime? You take about 2 days off for the summer.
Yeah, well, it's. I mean, this year basketball doesn't stop, right? We've got everything flowing all the way through. But yeah, it's funny. I just had this conversation with a group of students that are looking to figure out what they're trying to do in life. And, one of them asked, like, do you ever get sick of it? And I said, it's not that I ever get sick of basketball, because I don't, and I never have, and I hope I never do. But every once in a while, I need to do something different. That's when I'm like, all right, I'm going to go watch a Marvel movie, or I'm going to sit down and watch, a couple episodes of TV, and I like stuff where I can kind of turn my brain off.
Mm-hmm.
Like our summertime hobby here in the Smith house is we like trash TV, like Below Deck, which is absolute garbage television. But like we'll lock in and watch 3 episodes of that in a row,
That's
and then
great.
after that, I'm like, all right, let me get back to watching film of G League players or something, because I gotta turn my brain back on. But that's how we have a little bit of fun here.
Who do you think so far, and I know it's light sample size, but who's the MVP of Team USA for Steve Kerr's squad?
That's a good question. I think probably LeBron. It's either him or Kevin Durant. I think if we just said just the Olympics, people would probably lean a little bit more towards Kevin Durant. Mm-hmm. But if we use the full run up, I would say it's LeBron. The way he took over those last couple of games in the exhibition, it was just like, all right, get on my back. And it's one of those things where you see him do it, and then I have to remind myself, he's 40. He's been doing this for 20 years. Like this is not normal behavior that we're watching here. It is really unbelievable. I mean, he is just so special. And it's funny, I just said to someone this morning, I have done a complete 360 on LeBron. I know most people are like, no, you did a 180. And I tell people, no, I did a 360. I thought he was great. When he came in, I was super excited. Then he went to the Heat, and I was like, I hate this. I don't like this. I actively did not want to see him in that group win. I wasn't a big fan. Then he went back to Cleveland, and he won, and, all that meant to everybody there in Cleveland. I've kind of come all the way back around where I'm like, you know what, give me his, as long as he wants to do this, and if he can keep playing this way, I don't know why he'd ever retire. Like,
take him any way we can get him.
Unbelievable.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly.
Keith, I'm curious. I saw yesterday, I think it was yesterday, maybe the day before, Jared Allen agreed to a 3-year, $91 million extension with the Cavaliers, and seems like they're keeping that group together after they get knocked out of the playoffs last season. And then I think it was ESPN that did the big story of, hey, look, there's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes. Maybe some of the players don't like what's going on. Yeah, whatever it was. Now they have a new coach. What does this team look like going into next season, and can this group stay together and kind of everyone be good and kind of continue on this ascension that they're on right now?
Yeah, not only were they not done with the post-season press conferences, I don't even know that they had started them.
Oh, is that early?
Our article dropped. I mean, it was immediate after the game. It was within 10 minutes of the final buzzer that it dropped out there. And it was like, reading that, it was like, all right, well, everybody's gone, and they're going to build around, whatever couple guys are left, and they go. And here we are. The only thing that they've really changed to date is the coach, because they haven't signed free agents. They haven't gone out and traded for anybody. They haven't really lost any players. They're one of the few teams that's kind of coming back pretty whole. So I think, you're seeing that they're kind of a good example of what teams are kind of doing right now with these aprons, which is, well, if we let Jared Allen carry out another couple years, we may just lose him. And if we lose him, we can't replace him, because we've got Mitchell, we've got Mobley, we've got Garland. By the time you fill out the rest of the roster, we're going to be way over, and we won't be able to sign anybody, never mind anybody nearly as good as Jared Allen. So I think Cleveland is looking at it saying, we're pretty good. We have a coach coming in who's a big fan of Jared Allen and Kenny Atkinson, because he had him in Brooklyn previously, and we think we can make this work. And I applaud them for being open and saying, you know what, we're different from other teams, because we have these 2 small guards and we have the 2 big guys, but we're okay with that. We're going to figure it out. And if they think we, with enough improvement from Mobley, a little bit better health from some of our key guys, figure out our depth a little bit more with Atkinson, we can take the next step and go from being good regular season team to real contender. Might as well go for it. But boy, they're going to be expensive. But here's the real key. None of their guys are signed to bad contracts. So if we're a couple years into this and it's like, you know what, it's really not working out the way we hoped for, they'll just move a guy or two in trade and rebalance things that way.
Yeah. Keith, last thing for you real quickly. Back to the Olympics. I've really been enjoying watching the 3-on-3 basketball. The only problem is neither the men's nor women's teams are any good. I think women's won a game earlier today to get the first win for either team. Men's were supposed to play here in a second, but they now have rain over there. Do you know what makes you qualified to be on the 3-on-3 men's or women's team? Because I feel like with all of the basketball talent we have in the United States, they should be more competitive than what they're showing right now in Paris.
Yeah, here's the challenge. 2 of the 4 players on both, either men's or women's, have to be ranked through so many qualifying events in the 3-on-3 world of basketball. That's why, a lot of people have said, all right, I get it. Not everybody can go be on the dream team. Why don't they send, 3-4 other guys and just let them go clean up? Problem is, a lot of those events are during the NBA season. That's why you see, like, Jimmer Fredette is out there because he's not playing for anybody, so he's able to play. I think what you're ultimately going to see them do is they're going to have probably 2 guys who are almost more like, these are our full-time guys, which I think they're building towards. Then those guys will be the 2, like, base players. And then I think you may see this become, hey, let's send 2 top college players along with them. Kind of what the women tried to do a little bit this year before, gosh, I can't think of her name.
Cameron
for
Brand.
L.A.
Yeah.
She got injured, the rookie. But she was supposed to be there playing in this as well. And I think that's the thing for them. So I think you're going to see them make some tweaks to the way they build that out. But, it's not, it's because I've had a lot of friends say, why are we not just saying, why didn't we send Paul George and, 2 other guys? And it's like, it doesn't work that way, unfortunately, because I'd be all about it if it did.
Yeah, I knew there had to be some catch because I'm watching these games. I'm like, there's got to be a way this team could be better, but that makes a whole lot more sense. Well, Keith, as always, thanks so much for joining us, and we'll talk to you again next Thursday.
I appreciate it. Thanks so much for having me.
Thanks, Keith.
Keith Smith with us every week, and that was just really good information on what we were speculating and questioning earlier.
Yeah.
Now we got an answer. Yeah, he knows.
I knew there had to be something. I knew if someone knew the answer to it, it'd be Keith Smith.
He knows. Keith Smith on our Sissy's Log Cabin guest line, 901-360-8255. You can text or talk at that number, sponsored by Sissy's Log Cabin. They are the official jeweler of the hometown teams, the Memphis Grizzlies and the Memphis Tigers, in that great new location over at Laurelwood at 4542 Poplar. Bill Jones and his great team here to stay, and they're going to be with us for our coverage from the FedEx St. Jude Championship. In fact, look out, Bill's going to be on the golf course that Wednesday in the Pro-Am, supporter of the hometown teams like for Tigers Athletics and this football season. When we get into our SEC coverage on Monday, the weekend from the SEC, they'll bring you that for us. The Mid-South's largest selection of one-of-a-kind jewelry, engagement rings, necklaces, earrings, 9,000 square feet in Laurelwood at Poplar and Perkins with expanded lines for Rolex, Cartier, diamonds, and more. They offer a selection of diamonds, estate jewelry, and fine gifts, and they have since 1970 with all the great locations across the Mid-South. Official jeweler of the hometown teams, and at FedEx Forum with the floor seat lounge. Unsurpassed value, exceptional service, expansive selection, and an extraordinary shopping experience, because life's too short for ordinary jewelry.
Brett, we need to get to a break, but when we come back, I'm excited because we've got football tonight. It might only be the Hall of Fame game, but it's football nonetheless. It counts. I'll take it any way I can get it. So let's go ahead, get to that break. When we come back, we're talking some NFL.
Add a little fun to your lunch break. Join Johnny Radio for Sports 56 Happy Hour from 11 to 1 every weekday on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
If you love sports and Mexican food, you can get the best of both at Los Cabos Mexican Bar and Grill on Summer near Grand. Watch all the big games on all the big TVs on all the walls at Los Cabos. And enjoy premium tequila shots anytime for just $5.50. Celebrate every day with lunch specials from 10 to 3 and happy hour from 3 to 8. Lunch is just $6.75 to $10.99 and margaritas start at $4.99. Experience real Mexican cuisine along with great sports at Los Cabos on Summer near Grand.
Chris Price here for Brian Elder Roofing. For nearly 2 decades, we've installed some of the best roof systems across the Mid-South. To the tens of thousands of clients we've served, we are honored. So many of you call our team at Brian Elder Roofing, and or visit us online at brianellerroofing.com. Moving is stressful, but Black Tie Moving can take the worry out of the process. Whether you're moving across town or across country, moving your home or your office, your personal moving concierge from Black Tie Moving will work with you to design a plan that perfectly fits your budget and needs. And they're available 24/7 to answer any questions you have. Give Black Tie Moving a call at 901-316-6196 or go to blacktiemoving.com/Memphis to get your personal, no obligation quote from the moving experts at Black Tie Moving.
I don't feel so good.
You do feel hot. Dayquil Kids will take care of that fever.
What about my cough?
Dayquil Kids has that covered.
Will it make my throat feel better?
Yes, that too.
But will it taste good?
Yep, Dayquil Kids comes in your favorite flavor.
Purple?
Well, yes, it's grape.
Try new Dayquil Kids Plus Fever, the daytime coughing, aching, sore throat fever just for kids medicine. Safe for kids 6+. Use as directed.
At Jason's Deli, when you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises. Just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it. Because you're not just taking the bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes and special diets with vegan and gluten-free options available. Convenience and on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com. So whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied. Freshness is nearby. At Jason's Deli, locations at Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, Poplar in Highland, Germantown Road in Cordova, and on Goodman Road in Highland Branch. Jason's Deli. It's wholesome food and no surprises. Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. MPD working with a couple of accidents out here. Actually, it's been in pretty good shape for the most part. They're on 240 East now. It is trying to crank up at times here eastbound on 240 from Mill Branch out to 385 Billmores Parkway. We got some stop-and-go traffic going outbound certain sections there of, let's say, Sam Cooper as you work your way back towards the interstate on Sam Cooper going outbound. Havenly Showers, your curbless shower specialist. Transform your bathroom with a tub. Curbless shower conversion. Log on right now, havenlyshowers.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Brett, I should have had some football music bringing us back in because tonight's the night, the Hall of Fame game on ESPN and ABC, 7 o'clock tonight. I was also confused. I said earlier I was confused about something. Oh, no baseball games during the day. I was also confused when I saw that the Hall of Fame game tonight was going to be played on ESPN, then realized obviously Olympics going on NBC. But going to be a lot of fun tonight. We know both coaches have pretty much come out and said point blank period, no starters will play tonight in Canton. I don't care if I see a single player that's going to make the 53-man roster. I'm just excited for football to see those two logos out there on the field in Canton against each other. It just means football is one step closer to being back.
This really is the test pattern to see if just putting the NFL shield up for 3 hours would get attention and draw ratings, because this game, now, ESPN, ABC,
sure,
it's the A-team. Joe Buck, Troy Aikman, Lisa Salters on the sidelines, Laura Rutledge handling interviews during the game with Hall of Fame enshrinees, Freeney, Gradishire, Hester, Johnson, McMichael, Peppers, and Patrick Willis. So they're rolling out the big guns.
That's awesome. And
has to be the hardest game for Joe Buck to get ready for all year, isn't it?
But there are not many people I trust that I'm going to get an unbelievable football watching experience for a preseason game more than I trust that group, probably the group on NBC,
And that's why they're
it's
at the
very
top
rare.
of the
exactly.
profession.
That's why they're the A team. At the end of the day.
Are.
But
I love Joe Buck, and I don't go that much to it, but I mean just to see some of the stuff directed at him on Twitter, I just don't get it. I'm very partial to him because I loved his dad. His dad through broadcasting only taught me the sport of baseball.
Right.
And loved Joe Buck and very, very nice man. And the other night when he shared the booth with Chip Carey, they finally got back together after the rain out game. There was a lot of visiting in the game, and Chip Carey just showing just what the gentleman that he is, really deferred and kind of made it all about Joe Buck.
Wow. And
Joe Buck still, he couldn't get out of routine. He wanted to call a baseball game, and there was a lot of visiting, a lot of storytelling. Sure. But I mean, he's 2 on, 2 out, 2 balls, 2. He couldn't deviate from everything that he knows. It's just muscle memory for him to call a game, and he cut his teeth on official scorebook.
Yeah. No, and that's his bread and butter is calling games. And so it does not surprise me at all that maybe when he's in a booth, he's a little bit uncomfortable trying to just tell stories and hang out. When he knows when he walks into that room, it's game time. And I'm here to call a game. I'm here to be entertaining to people, but to also let them know what's going on in these games. And it's very hard to turn that switch off when it's been on for so long. And so that didn't surprise me at all. But was awesome to see those guys together, especially like you said, Brett, after the first attempt got rained out.
Yeah, and Chip Carey, who is a little older than Joe Buck and from baseball royalty, just like just like Joe Buck is, but he very much recognizes what Joe Buck has accomplished,
great.
And he was very, very respectful, very deferential, and very fun, and did it in a fun manner when they did that game. But tonight, get ready for, as I said earlier, Tim Bull versus Austin Reed late in the game.
I'm definitely down for that. I honestly, Brad, I'll be honest, I like both the backups for both of these teams. At quarterback, you've got Davis Mills for Houston that, a lot of people thought would be the starter last year, depending on how fast C.J. Stroud was able to pick it up. Now, we learned very quickly it wasn't going to be an issue for C.J. Stroud, and you really didn't need Davis Mills that much. And then on the other side, Tyson Bagent, who last year the Bears had to turn to with Justin Fields getting injured, and I thought
and he competed.
He looked really good and has quickly become one of my favorite backups. Bagent's the fella whose father is the professional arm wrestler, right?
That's right.
I thought that was
really
right.
well tight.
Very. And so it's gonna be fun to watch those two.
I think the whole
up.
family leads with their chin.
Well,
don't they?
when your father, when the father in the family is a professional arm wrestler, I think everyone falls in line behind him.
My top story that I made the case that this year the Bears could be what the Texans were last year. You think that can really happen?
It could. I always am worried about any rookie quarterback. Now, I know Caleb Williams
C.J.
is
Stroud
great.
last year.
Exactly, and that's the thing is you really never know, because you could also say Bryce Young last year, number 2 overall pick number 1 to the Panthers. Yeah, I mean it's just you really never know. I feel very confident in Caleb Williams, so I definitely do think the Bears could be that. But Brett, I mean, you look around in that division, it is not going to be easy for any team in that division to have an overly great season.
I swear, I think my 2 favorite divisions are both in the North, AFC and NFC.
Yeah, I mean, I believe it.
For this coming up football.
Sure.
I like the passion of the NFC South, and I swear, now most of it's in and of itself, but some of it I think is the passion of Southerners for college football that we've brought the sports hate over to that division with Saints, Bucks,
definitely,
and Falcons and Panthers.
Oh, absolutely. But yeah, you said it. I mean, when you look at both North divisions, AFC and NFC, both of those are going to be some that, the divisions that you're going to have to keep an eye on all year long, because really anything can happen. And Brett, I wouldn't be surprised if any team wins either of those divisions.
And what if those divisions produce the Super Bowl?
Wow.
It could be Detroit and Baltimore or
Sure.
Cincinnati.
Yeah, no, it definitely could be. And I think, you look around, obviously a lot of people very high on Baltimore. They add Derrick Henry. You hear that, the offense looks better than it's ever looked before. Lamar Jackson is trimmed down a little bit. He might even be faster than he's been before. You've got Cincinnati with Joe Burrow coming back, so a lot of excitement there. Those, I think, if you're just face value guessing, those would probably be the top two teams in the AFC North. Then you go over to the NFC North, and you've got Detroit that's making strides every year. Green Bay, who just signed their third, maybe franchise quarterback straight to a big-time deal.
Detroit and Green Bay weren't far from Super Bowl last year.
You're right. They were very close. And so I think both those teams will take that next step. It's just a question of where's Minnesota going to be next year? Where's Chicago going to be next year with their young quarterbacks? I think both teams expect by the end of the season, and I'm saying that more to the Vikings, that those will be the starters. So I'm really excited about both those divisions as well. And then you look at the Bears. I know everybody's been talking about Caleb Williams for good reason.
This isn't like most rookie rebuilds.
No. It's not. They've got a lot of pieces that are coming back that are really, really good pieces. Even just looking at the receivers, you got DJ Moore. They added Keenan Allen. Now you've got the young rookie Roma Dunze. This is going to be a good team.
has a clue, doesn't he?
Yes,
we think
maybe. I'm still verdicts out on him a little bit.
Show us more.
Yes,
Yeah.
I need to see more. And I think when you've got this type of team, I need to see you produce, and I think we'll have a lot of answers after the season about
Brian, one of the big takeaways tonight is going to be the new hybrid kickoff format.
Absolutely.
Makes its debut tonight. It will be jarring for people to see 21 of the 22 players lined up on the same half of the field to begin the play, and only the kicker on the other side. They have basically stolen this from the XFL, UFL.
Oh yeah, no question. I flat out stole it from the spring leagues, and so it's going to be fun. There's going to be a lot of people that
outraged.
Oh, outrage!
What have we come to as a country?
I said it. I said it during my not top story, Brett. Just wait to get on Twitter tonight during the game. Just wait till tomorrow morning with the early morning television shows on ESPN and other networks. There's going to be a lot of talk. This is going to dominate Hot Talk television tomorrow morning. Is what do you think of the new kickoff? And there's going to be, Brett, believe it or not, there's going to be a lot of people that completely missed this in the offseason, that this rule was happening, and they're going to sit down tonight and watch the Hall of Fame game and go, What in the world's going on? What was that I just watched? What happened to the kickoff?
They are.
And they're going to learn for the first time.
And then
the
wait
rule
till
changes.
next weekend when we have games Thursday, Friday, and Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and into Sunday. But on all the health and safety stuff, this has been my consistent stand. We want to keep this game. And if we're going to keep this game, we have to make modifications. It can't be the head first, crown of the helmet, savagery that we had.
Sure.
Okay, I know we all lived through it, but some hadn't lived so well. I don't know that it's all entirely the blame for Steve McMichael's ails, but when you look at him and you see him, and you think, what if?
Yeah.
What if this caused that? Then we got to do some things. We got to change some things.
No, you're absolutely right.
And I don't want to hear it's flag football. You can't kill the quarterback anymore. If we're going to keep it, we got to make some changes.
Right. And so it's one of those things that I think is needed, especially
and
when you
Goodell
talk
doesn't
about
want
safety.
the class action.
No, absolutely not. And so you're seeing them, but I think this is the way to do it is minor things that I think can help that I don't think are going to really affect the flow of the game. And I think I need to believe it before I see it, or see it before I believe it. But
you know who's going to hate it tomorrow?
Who's going to hate it? Oh.
Happy Allentown.
Oh, yeah.
John's going to go crazy.
That's going to lead the show. Because I'll be honest, we talked a lot about the Hall of Fame game tonight.
That's the lock of the night.
And he didn't mention it with all of his injuries and everything. John's forgotten about the new kickoff rules, and so he's going to see it tonight, and he's going to go crazy about it. So you're absolutely right. Thank you for telling me that, because now I can prepare myself. I can get ready for that conversation tomorrow to start the show. But there's a lot of people out there online writing stories about it, saying that this,
and I may very well be right there crazy with him.
You might. We got to see it first, Brett.
But I'm a little more used to it from my UFL viewing and going.
Definitely. And so, it's going to be interesting. But there's a lot of people that say this might make kickoffs more entertaining and, give more opportunity to returning kicks. I got to see
till we
it.
Get someone actually hurt on this.
Yes, then it's completely.
But maybe
different
it won't be the train wrecks we used to have. And the wedge buster. And I hate blaming football for everything. I really do. But my late friend Kevin Turner, the great Alabama player, he said it was no doubt the hits to the dome being wedge buster in the NFL.
Wow.
And he went down one speed, and it was all out, and he was trying to knock a house down.
Yeah. I mean, it's how the game was taught back then. And obviously we didn't know as much as we do now.
Incredible athlete. That size,
absolutely.
That speed, those hands.
It's crazy. So it's going to be a lot of fun tonight. I'm really excited for this Hall of Fame game. But you're right. Outrage coming. Get ready for it. Do not be surprised.
Aren't we a nation of outrage?
Well, yes, we are. And speaking of being a nation of outrage, it stopped raining in France, I guess. And the USA team is out there. 5-3 lead right now over Latvia in the men's 3-on-3. So we'll see if they can pick up their first win in the Olympics in men's 3-on-3. But let's go ahead and get to a break. When we come back, it'll be time for Big Number of the Day.
Join the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, for Wolo and Friends. Weekday mornings from 10 to 11 here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
East Memphis Ace Hardware is more than just a hardware store. It's really a customer service store with 20 employees along with complete inventory of items. Finding what you need is easy. Choosing from a complete selection of Big Green Egg as well as Traeger and River grills. And the Garden Center has everything for your yard. You can get glass cut, repair screens, get new keys, and heating club programming. Tools, nuts, bolts, screws. You need it. East Memphis Ace Hardware has it. And they're just down the street at the corner of Ridge and White Station.
Admit it. When you start thinking about tastes of Memphis, you think treats, sweets. You think Dinstall's. For 122 years now. What is that, 5 generations? When people wanted something to bring to a party that will just make everybody happy, they bring out Dinstall's. 122 years of cashew crunch, of heavenly hash, of turtlettes, of their award-winning fudge. That's worldwide. It's known that well. Then there's the milk chocolate. It all starts there. There's the double-dip peanuts. And then every fall, those famous chocolate-covered strawberries with that fondant. And they won't tell you what's in the fondant, but it makes it oh so special. And easy to get to. 5 locations. There's where they make the candies in Pleasant View. There's Germantown. There's Collierville. There's even one downtown. And in my neck of the woods in Laurelwood. You know what? 122 years made in Memphis and enjoyed by the whole world. Dinstall's.
Welcome to the Rendezvous.
This is John Burgess. When my dad started the Rendezvous in 1948, I don't think anyone could have imagined we'd still be serving shoulder, cheese plates, and our world-famous dry rub ribs 75 years later. But we are still here in the basement, in an alley in downtown Memphis. We sincerely thank you for making the Rendezvous what it is today. Charlie Burgess Rendezvous, a legendary experience for over 75 years, whether you dine in, pick up, or ship across the country.
Don't miss out on summer brake deals at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Right now, get 15% off a set of Brake Best Select, Select Pro, or Import Direct brake pads and 2 rotors. Restore quality braking and improve stopping performance with parts and advice from the professional parts people. Save money now when you visit O'Reilly Auto Parts or O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts. Memphis, the playoffs are back. Come see the PGA Tour's best compete for the trophy, the FedEx St. Jude Championship, August 14th through 18th. Witness the drama at 70 players and rides in Memphis, and only 50 move on. Tickets are on sale now at FedExChampionship.com.
Now back to Sportstime on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Big Daddy.
Hello, Big Brand. It's a guy, he wants to be big, then he gets big, he doesn't want to be big anymore, then he gets small, but the suit's too big.
Big Daddy.
The big boy.
You're a big guy. I think she's trying to pull a fast one on Big Daddy.
The big number of the day.
All right, Brett, I'm trying to quickly put together the finishing touches on my big number because we just had some breaking news, and my big number is going to tie directly into that big number. Let me see if I can do it really quick and then can just get right into mine. Okay, I've got it. My big number today is the number 266. So I guess a good-sized big number. That's how many games Mike Trout has appeared in the last 4 seasons. It just came down within the last 30 minutes that Mike Trout is out for the season with another meniscus tear. So definitely terrible news.
I don't know that he's got many more left in him.
It doesn't feel like it. It really doesn't.
What a shame.
With all of these injuries, and I mentioned
if it ended today, is he a Hall of Famer? Yes.
Yes, but it's not first ballot, I don't think.
Oh, it's not, huh? Wow.
I don't know. It's a toss-up, I think.
He was going. Well, now he wasn't going to pitch, but he was going to be bigger than Ohtani.
He was
and
the big
on
thing.
his way.
I think had gotten to the point of being the biggest
just terrible
player in Major League Baseball, the biggest star in Major League Baseball.
We talked about it with Thomas Harding yesterday.
We absolutely did.
And felt like it was coming.
Yeah, we did. It has definitely felt like it's been coming for a while. But you look these last 4 seasons. 2024 played 29 games. 2023 82 games. 2022 stayed fairly healthy, 119 games. 2021 only 36 games.
And nobody played many in 20.
Right, and that's why I didn't put 20 in there, because
Gotcha.
he played 53, and that was only a 60-game season,
Yeah.
so we just stopped before we got there. So you look, these last 4 seasons combined has played less than 2 Major League Baseball seasons.
One postseason hit ever, and that was a home run.
It's incredible. The Angels have done a really bad job trying to put things around him. You shouldn't say that. He had Ohtani around him, and they still couldn't find wheels. They had Pujols. You're absolutely right. So it's just been rough for him. I feel terrible for him, not only from the injury front, but just not being able to get to the postseason, have postseason success. But now
That's why every cent they can get, they should.
That's right.
Because you don't know when or how it's going to end.
You're absolutely right. So another injury, another season-ending injury for Mike Trout. So he'll finish 2024 with only 29 games played in. It's just really, really, really wild to even think about.
266, a different number. I've got one, too. My big number is 438. The Chicago Bears have 438 more wins than the Houston Texans have games played.
Wow.
The Bears are 793, 634, and 2 all-time in 105 years. The Houston Texans are 152, 202, and 1 all-time in 23 years. So the Bears with 438 more wins than the Texans even have games played.
That's incredible. That's incredible.
And it goes back to Papa Bear and the founding year of the NFL, 1920.
But now with the
surprised this is year 24 of the Texans.
That is hard to believe. That is definitely hard
that
to
was
believe.
fast.
Yeah, well, yes, very fast. But you know what they say, Brett. Tonight with the Hall of Fame game, throw the records out. I mean, this one is for keeps tonight.
Throw the records out. Throw
everything
out. The play chart out too.
Throw the starters
participation
out.
chart.
Yeah, I mean, good Lord. I take back what I said. I pulled up Mike Trout's stats, and even despite all the injuries, despite the lack of postseason, despite being on the West Coast and not many people seeing him, he's 100% a first ballot Hall of Famer. I mean, you look at these numbers.
You think first, okay.
Yeah, you look at these numbers. They're incredible. I mean, the amount of years he batted over 300.
They might have some injury penalty and wait till second, though.
And that's why I said maybe not first ballot, because you see these injuries, and it's kind of what we talk about with a lot of people, especially around Hall of Fame.
We were robbed as a consumer with it.
We absolutely were.
Injuries and West Coast.
Absolutely. And, I feel like we talk about it a lot, not really with Hall of Fame. But, Brett, at the end of the day, the people that decide who's in the Hall of Fame, some of that, kind of human nature comes in, and a lot of the people are going to be remembering a lot of injuries late in his career, not really postseason success. That's going to be the first thing before you go back and really look at how dominant he was when he was able to play. So it's, I think, going to be up in the air.
Would you want to be a Hall of Fame voter?
Absolutely not. It seems like a lot of pressure.
It does,
and a lot of work.
And we're gonna get to this daily Memphian list. On any of these lists, we do them. And you ought to see some of the responses we get when we do a Monday Night Football Big Four. Yeah.
When you put Aaron Rodgers in your top 4 of Jets quarterbacks,
there's that.
Even your own co-host won't let you live it down.
But it was one pass.
It was. I stand.
It wasn't even completed.
Brett, I stand with it. If we do it again this year, he'll be on there. How about that?
The Aaron Rodgers stand.
Yeah, that's me, I guess. I need to change my my bio on Twitter. But no, I just being a Hall of Fame voter.
I now vote for 2 things.
Yeah,
and I'm not kidding you. I want to get that Heisman vote right. And and at SEC Media Days, so honored to accept voting for Cotton Bowl Hall of Fame, and I cast my first ballot for it. And I'm gonna wait till the votes are in before I announce how I voted. And I want to get it right, and I trust that everybody does on whatever list, and that there's not any needless or silly thumb on the scale stuff.
Right. Yeah. No, I feel like the guys and girls that are in that position to make those decisions, I feel like that's if you're in that position, it's a lot of responsibility. It's an honor to do, times. And I think those people take it like that and want to be right, like you said.
Another thing I want to make a point of: if I fail to do it when we get to it at 5:30, I'm not ascribing any blame. I'm not going, they're looking for clicks. Guess what? When we do that on Monday, Big Four, we want listeners.
That's right.
That's right. We won't text and talk over it.
Yes. Tell me something that people don't do for clicks or listens or.
We're in the clicks. Go to the website. Go to the business.
Views, all that stuff. Yes.
So I'm not knocking that.
No, not at all. So we'll definitely get to that at 5:30. But
I don't have any big disagreements. There's 2 or 3 that I do, and just like at All-Star Game on snubs, I'm not going to be that guy. It's 25.
Sure.
So if you're going to take, you want to add one, you got to take one off.
Exactly.
And I'm going to have that. I'm going to name names, and I don't want anybody. I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings on that.
Definitely. So we'll get to that at 5:30. A couple other things we want to do at 5:30 as well. But let's go ahead and wrap up our 4 o'clock hour. And when we come back, we got to talk a whole lot of Tigers. Practice has started for the football team, basketball team. They look like, I saw a picture, they looked like they were having a little game night the other night. So they're getting all together and trying to build that chemistry with a lot of new faces. So we got a ton to talk about next with Greg Gaston.
Sports and Mexican food, you can get the best of both at Los Cabos Mexican Bar and Grill on Summer near Graham. Watch all the big games on all the big TVs on all the walls at Los Cabos and enjoy premium tequila shots anytime for just $5.50. Celebrate every day with lunch specials from 10 to 3 and happy hour from 3 to 8. Lunch is just $6.75 to $10.99 and margaritas start at $3.99. Experience real Mexican cuisine along with great sports at the Los Cabos on Summer near Graham.
Make your next grill your last with a Big Green Egg. Smoke, bake, roast, sear, and grill, all with a lifetime warranty. Save money on fuel, eating out, and replacing expensive grills that cannot match the flavor of the Big Green Egg. Ready to cook in only 10 to 15 minutes with temperatures below 200, above 700, and anywhere in between with ease. Change your at-home cooking experience for life. Go to shop.biggreenegg.com.
All right, when it comes to getting life insurance for your family, a lot of excuses can get in the way. But ask yourself this. If something were to happen to me, who would pay the mortgage, the kids' education, and the other bills? Then forget the excuses and check out Ethos Life, the online, easy way to get life insurance in 10 minutes. Ethos has rates that you can afford, like a $500,000 policy for a 40-year-old male starting at $1 a day or $30 a month, with a few health questions and no medical exam. Get your free quote right now at checkethos.com. That's checkethos.com. Not available in all states. Rates rates do vary.
Women here in Memphis are wearing bigger, better quality diamonds and some amazing designer rings thanks to the arrival of Genesis Diamonds. Hey, it's Eric Hasseltine, and Genesis came on the scene here last year and shook up the jewelry world big time with rock-bottom prices on diamonds, a selection that's like 20 times ordinary stores, designer rings you can't find anywhere else, and guarantees and warranties that are the strongest in America. A relaxed, no-pressure, laid-back experience with no commission salespeople. Everybody here is loving what Genesis is doing. Whether you want a lab-grown diamond or a natural diamond, Genesis will easily beat anyone else's price. The owner is a former diamond wholesaler, and Genesis has cornered the market on the world's most acclaimed designer rings. They have all the top 10 designers in the bridal world, thousands of handcrafted rings made by the premier designers. For whatever special occasion you have coming up, don't go to the old-fashioned stores for the same old, same old. Discover the store that's raised the bar in quality, selection, and value. Prepare to be blown away. Genesis Diamonds on Poplar at Perkins Extended.
Admit it. When you start thinking about tastes of Memphis, you think treats, sweets. You think Dinstall's. For 122 years now. What is that, 5 generations? When people wanted something to bring to a party that will just make everybody happy, they bring out Dinstall's. 122 years of cashew crunch, of heavenly hash, of turtlettes, of their award-winning fudge. That's worldwide. It's known that well. Then there's the milk chocolate. It all starts there. There's the double-dip peanuts. And then every fall, those famous chocolate-covered strawberries with that fondant. And they won't tell you what's in the fondant, but it makes it oh so special. And easy to get to. 5 locations. There's where they make the candies in Pleasant View. There's Germantown. There's Collierville. There's even one downtown and in my neck of the woods in Laurelwood. You know what? 122 years made in Memphis and enjoyed by the whole world. Dinstall's.
Do you know one of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health? Provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring water with free delivery and setup, dependable service, and no long-term contracts. What an easy choice. Call Jeff Manus today, 901-382-2363, or visit arctic-clear.com. Arctic Clear bottled water. Call now, 382-2363. That's 382-2363.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. A couple of accidents out here, but right now it's moving on 240 East from Mill Branch out to 385. It's got even heavier as you come off 240 there onto Lamar, going outbound back out into Olive Branch, south of Memphis, holding up right now. But we expect it to get a little bit busier here in a few minutes, southbound 55 down through DeSoto County. Hey, Weimer's Jewelry, they're located 7525 Highway 64. They are your full-service, family-owned jewelry store right here in Memphis. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
From 7 to 10, right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. On Twitter X at Greg_Gaston. Here's Greg with Bryant and Brett.
Greg Gaston joins us now to talk the Tigers. You can listen to him every single morning with Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli. Greg, I know we got to talk a ton of Tigers, but I want to start off, need to get your thoughts on your favorite and least favorite Olympic events so far in Paris.
Well, you probably saw my tweet about my least favorite because I heard you and Brett talk about it a bit. I can tell you this, when it comes to the Olympic Games, the Summer Olympic Games, I'll watch a lot of events, but I want to see 3 events. I want to see gymnastics, I want to see swimming, and I want to see track and field.
I'm with you.
And there's 3 reasons why, or there's 2 reasons why. 1, the excitement of these events that are happening, and number 2, I don't watch them during the year at any other time.
Right.
You could tell me that NBC this Saturday is the Jim Smith Track and Field Invitational from the University of Pennsylvania. I'm not watching it. No thanks. But in the Olympics, I can't get enough of it. And then when
Hit
you
the
have
music.
stars,
Mm-hmm.
you have studs. You have Simone Biles. You have Katie Ledecky. You used to have Michael Phelps. And then, of course, stars from other countries. So I want to see, I didn't even mention the track and field stars. So I want to see those three events and all the events within the sport, the sport itself. As far as things I don't care about fencing. I know you guys talked about fencing. I don't care about
fencing, Greg.
trampoline. I don't care about that.
Breakdancing?
Ooh, the B-boys and B-girls divisions.
What? What did you say, Brett?
Breakdancing.
Breaking.
Only if Ryan Silverfield's involved. That's the only way I'm watching breakdancing. But there's a few other things that I normally wouldn't watch that I end up watching. I'm not watching canoeing. Okay, I'll watch rowing. I'm not watching canoeing. I'm not a big BMX guy, but if it's on, maybe I'll watch that. But the one thing I'm not really enamored with watching, to be honest with you, although I'm not turning it off if it comes on, I am keeping up with it just because it's a topic of conversation for my show, is tennis and golf, because I see it all the time. Right. So, again, when I can tell you this. Now, I can't speak for these guys, but I believe this is an educated guess on my part. They want to win. They're certainly in competition. They want to win the gold, whether it be tennis or whether it be golf. But when they look at a resume and they have major victories in either one of those sports, the Olympic medal pales in comparison to the wins in the majors. And that's why I look at it and go, it's important to them. It's just not that important. It's not the most important thing. So I see it every week, for goodness sakes. We have 4 majors each year in golf and tennis, so I really don't need to see it in the Olympics, but I won't boycott it. If it's on, like I said, I'll watch it.
Greg, on the Olympic canoeing, is that natural rapids or man-made rapids?
I don't watch it. As long as they stay away from the Sin River and the pollution that apparently is in that, but I guess they use it. I'm not sure.
And when did it become the Sin? It was the Seine most of our lives, wasn't it?
Yeah, I know. And Eli was calling it that, so I changed it to that. I don't know. I didn't look it up. I was there. I actually was on a boat with my wife, like a dinner boat thing down that river, which was really, really cool in Paris. Obviously, the City of Lights. It was beautiful, early evening and then into the evening. But as far as swimming in the darn thing, I don't know. I mean,
you didn't try to jump into it?
No. Well, I drowned, first of all, because I don't swim. But second of all, the guy yesterday who was one of the favorites for the triathlon, did you see him yakking it up after he came out of the water?
Yeah, I saw a lot of them yakking it up.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he had bad sushi or it was something to do with the river.
That's something, I guess. Well, Greg, let's get to some Tigers. Camp has opened for the football team. We're seeing a lot of pictures and things from this team. Excitement is building. I thought very interesting some of the things Ryan Silverfield had to say speaking to the media yesterday. One of the things he said is that SEC coaches are contacting his players after the 3rd game of the season. What did you make of what Ryan Silverfield had to say yesterday when addressing the media?
Well, I certainly understand what he's saying. I don't know if specifically you're certainly not getting SEC head coaches.
Right.
You may be getting somebody deep on the staff, but more than likely it's a third party that reaches out for those schools. There's a lot of that going on. There's not a surprise whatsoever that tampering is a part of it. It always has been. It certainly is now more so with the transfer portal. So, no, I am not surprised whatsoever that he said that. I've had conversations with him about that before. They're not the only school that deals with that, faces that. Other schools do as well, especially smaller schools in the sense that they're part of the group of 5, where the Power 5 conferences that have more money to be able to give players more NIL, they will reach out to players, especially if there's a lack of depth at a certain position. So there's no question it goes on. It's unfortunate, especially if it's early in the season, to start contacting these players. I said on my show today, and I don't know if this would curtail it, it would not stop people from contacting particular schools and players, not schools, but particular players. But I think there should be, like they do in the NFL for the rookies, they have the rookie symposium where they have somebody from the financial world talk to these rookies about what to do with now that you've come into a lot of money, how to be smart with the money. I think there should be somebody at all these schools talking about NIL, the transfer portal, and then also people reaching out and tampering, trying to talk to them while the season is going on. They should be aware of the situation and really how to handle it. Until some mandate comes down, that they need to be educated in that because it's going on.
Takes two to tango, though, doesn't it, guys? Can't the individual that's being tampered with tell the tamperer, hey, I'm playing football for someone else, and you shouldn't be tampering right now? Scram.
For sure.
It happens. I can tell you this. Seth Hennigan was one. He was asked by, or at least contacted by a number of different schools and said thanks, but no thanks. So, yes, I'm not saying every player, once they are contacted, indulges in a great conversation and then moves to the next level. Some certainly cut it off at the pass. But, yeah, it takes two to tango, but apparently it seems to be easy to reach these players through intermediates. I do believe that's the way it's happening.
They're runners, yeah.
Yeah, there's runners out there, but there was always runners, right, Brett?
Sure.
Back in the day before NIL. So, yeah, it definitely takes two to tango. And there's probably some players that also reach out on their own.
Mm-hmm.
Let's not be fools about that. But
and they have their hand out.
That's right.
Exactly.
I'm
but
open for
I
bids.
understand what Ryan said. Yeah, Ryan's right on that has happened before, and it will continue to happen. But it's not just at Memphis.
No, not at all. What are your biggest storylines, questions that you're keeping an eye on with the Memphis Tigers as they get ready for the start of the season?
I think my biggest question is the secondary. Who's going to win those positions, those starting jobs? I think they're pretty set, maybe with a position or two. I think Greg Rubin's going to be a part of that starting four back there. But it's going to be interesting to see who else comes out of it. It always is a question mark going into the season for Memphis and probably for a lot of different programs. If Memphis can, one, get a pass rush better than they did last year and be able to get to that quarterback, at least make the quarterback hurry and scramble around and be uncomfortable, then it helps the secondary. If the front seven isn't getting pressure on the quarterback, then he can sit in the pocket, have a sandwich, and pick apart pretty much any secondary out there. So it's very important that both things happen, that they get the pass rush and get to the quarterback a little bit quicker, if not hitting him, if not knocking him down, if not sacking him, at least harassing him. And that'll benefit the secondary. But also athletes themselves stepping up in the secondary for Memphis. And they've had periods of good defensive backs over the years. They just haven't had a consistent 4 to 5 to 6 guys that they would use in a rotation. They're hoping that this is the year because they did a real nice job in the portal in bringing in defensive backs. I think that's important. I think another thing I'm looking at is Coach Hankins now running the defense, Jordan Hankins. We saw a little bit of what he's capable of doing with his defense. By the way, he put together a game plan for Iowa State in the AutoZone Liberty Bowl. But I think, and he has said it, that it's going to vary from game to game, opponent to opponent, what styles that they run, what the scheme will be defensively. So that's something I can't wait to watch. I think they have a lot of talent and a lot more depth, but to see the way he attacks an attacking defense, that's going to be fun. And then, of course, there's always the question about offensive line. But I think this time around, the offensive line, there is a lot of depth. They went out there, they made a conscious effort of going out there and finding linemen. When I was at practice yesterday, albeit for a short time period, I looked over at the offensive line and I said, wow, that's a lot of offensive linemen. And I don't usually say that about Memphis. The depth has always been the issue. So I think there's depth and there's great battles going on for starting jobs. There's a good chance that the 5 starters are all new to that position. Now, Jonah Gamble and Xavier Hill will probably be starters, but they could very much move positions. Gamble to center, and then 3 other guys that come in as starters who are in battles right now. So that's certainly an area that I'm taking a look at as well. But I think they're going to be vastly improved with the offensive line.
Greg, we were talking about maybe some of the swimmers in the sin yakking it up. You don't see anybody at college football practice doing that anymore because everybody's when they get to August 1 football camp, they're in shape. Used to, that was a time to kind of make people yak it up.
Oh gosh, it has completely changed, hasn't it? It's 12 months a year. It's off-season conditioning. So now when you start camp, like you said, Brett, you're already in shape or better be in shape, and you're ready to go. And that goes for every level. That goes for high school. That goes for the NFL. Remember the days the NFL guys would come in and be smoking cigarettes, put on 10 pounds, and they use that month to get back in shape. That is not.
It would kill you now if you try to go to camp like that.
No question about it. No question about it. So they're in better shape. They're well conditioned. They've worked out all year long, or at least they should be working out all year long if they are expected to battle for a starting job or retain a starting job. So yeah, I'm not going to say you need less time to prepare for the opening game. I think the time, the duration, the amount of practices that you get before the opener is just fine. I don't think it needs to be longer. It doesn't need to be shorter. But the point is that these guys, as you mentioned, Brett, are definitely in shape and ready to go. And after a few practices, it's almost like riding a bike as they're back in the last fall and last winter's form pretty quickly.
Greg, one way to make your secondary a whole lot better is to have big guys in that defensive front and maybe even in blitzing situations, linebackers and maybe corner blitz getting after that quarterback. That'll make your secondary better. When I see Reggie Grimes, I know the Tigers' D-line is going to get better, and that makes the back end better.
I think Reggie Grimes is going to be a monster. I think Elijah Herring is going to be a great pickup, a guy who I watched him yesterday. I was a little surprised. He's tall and not as big. I think there's probably 10 more pounds of muscle he could put on, but he's fierce, and he also has great lateral pursuit. But Grimes on that front line, some of the guys that are returning, they're Cromartie Hamiltons of the world. These are guys, again, that played at bigger schools and now have come to Memphis. And you're right on. I was talking about that a little bit earlier, that if you get pressure on the quarterback, I don't care which quarterback you're going up against.
Just get him moving.
Get him moving. Get him uncomfortable. And if that happens, unless it's a Houdini, a quarterback that ends up playing on Sundays, more than likely they'll make mistakes. And turnovers are always a key in a game. You turn over a quarterback a few times, you cash that in with points, and then you're not worried about going down to the final minutes of a game in a one-score game. You feel comfortable that you're in control and can kind of ease to the finish line in a particular game. There were too many times last year that Memphis went down to the wire and had to pull it out. You don't want that to happen this year, especially with the conference schedule that they face.
And Greg, we're trying to get after that quarterback now and get them moving with rules set up for you not to be able to hit him. I swear, I think a key statistic now that we should monitor with more importance than we have in the past is tip footballs, deflected footballs, getting your hands up. That's almost as big batting it down as getting to and sacking the quarterback, because they don't want you hitting that quarterback. And I know statistical crews keep it, and I know Sports Information has it. I don't know that we've talked about it enough through the years that may be bigger now than actually getting to the quarterback.
Well, it's a point well taken, because there's always the chance you're going to get penalized, cost your team 15 yards.
You land wrong on him.
Down. Yes, you could blow on him the wrong way, and you're going to get a 15-yard penalty. Then, of course, you have targeting, so there's always the chance. Now, you still want to get to the quarterback. That's the part of the game, but I see what you're saying, and that has always been a part of the game, too. When you go out and watch practices, you hear the coaches say, arms up, arms up, arms up. You have to have arms up. You have to deflect balls. Because, again, not only may you knock down the ball and prevent a play from being executed or force a fourth down punt, but you may tip the ball and one of your teammates may pick it off. So good things happen normally. Now, once in a while, you tip it, it ends up going to a different receiver, and it turns out okay for them. But that's few and far between compared to the good things that happen for a defense when there's deflections or things of that nature.
I saw Reggie Grimes' dad, Big Reggie Grimes, tip a ball and catch it. He's playing inside. He's playing over the center in the 1999 SEC championship game for Bama, and he returned it for a touchdown.
That's great athleticism, right?
Sure
to be able to tip it, keep it up there, pick it off yourself, and then take it the distance. Man, it sounded weird. You say 1999. You know, it's 2024 now.
Sounded weird. It is weird, Greg.
Yeah, but there's even players that say, they were around in 2018, and now they're playing in 2024. Oh man, yeah, we got to be.
Now that was his dad at Bama in '99. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was I thought you were talking about.
No.
I thought I meant 2019. I was thinking of.
No, that was 1999. 25 years ago.
Wow.
But yeah, but my point is still well taken as far as the longevity of some of these players. You have Cam Rising, isn't he back for a 7th year at Utah? You had Frank Harris, who's finally done at UTSA, who just completed his 7th year. Now, albeit some of those years were injury plagued, but you had the COVID year. I think this is it for the COVID year.
Nobody knows. Nobody knows. Just go with it. Nobody knows where to go to check.
No, not at all.
Greg, Brian and I are going to talk about it here in a few minutes. The Daily Memphian had their list of their top 25 athletes for the 21st century. We're in the 25th year of the 21st century. That is shocking in and of itself. I think one of the omissions was Seth Hennigan.
So we talked about it. We've talked about it probably the last 3 days on the morning show. It's a great topic. It's an interesting topic that the Daily Memphian came up with, and you guys do it too. You come up with topics. We come up with topics as well, especially this time of the year. You want debate.
A lot of slings and arrows with them.
Yes. You want people to react, and some people are a little bit more harsh than others. But to me, it's like, hey, that's your opinion. Whatever. I may disagree with your opinion on certain people that are on the list. That's fine and dandy. I'm not going to sit there and say, you're wrong, I'm right. Others may. Eli was very adamant that they were wrong because Michael Orr wasn't on that list. Michael Orr. Now, you mentioned Seth Hennigan. Barrett Jones, your friend, not on the list. So certainly there's criticism that's warranted, but I thought they did a pretty good job. They were very inclusive.
And if you put someone in, you got to take somebody out, and then that gets into hurt feelings. But here's the case I would make for Michael Orr. First team AP All-American. That's the gold standard All-American team. 4-year college starter. 8 years in the NFL. 2 Super Bowls on a Super Bowl winning team. What more you got to do?
Had a movie made about him. I mean, come on, man. That guy absolutely should be in the top 25. But with Hennigan, it's interesting because this is the year. As he said yesterday after practice, this is the make it or break it season for him. And I believe because he was on with us whenever Media Days was, I think it was last week, and he kind of alluded to the same thing, that he's not only talking about individual. In fact, I think he's talking more about team, that this is our year. It's all set up for us to hit big things, to reach goals, and even then some. So it's put up or shut up time for that, but it's also the same deal for him individually to take that next step. He's already considered, one of the better quarterbacks in the nation, but I don't know how high he is on draft boards. He has a chance to go out there and perform not only incredibly well, but lead the Tigers to new heights, therefore helping his status when it comes to the NFL draft next spring or the opportunity some way, somehow to make an NFL roster, which is his ultimate goal. But as far as the top 25, I mean, you could debate some of those Memphis quarterbacks. They got Brady White on there. Brady White will have, who shattered a bunch of records, will more than likely have all his records shattered by Hennigan. But Hennigan going into this senior year, I could see why they left him off. He hasn't done it yet. He's got some of the records, don't get me wrong, but he hasn't done it yet. Last year was a great season, a 10-win season. You could have put him on there, no question about it. But I didn't really have an issue with that. I thought possibly Paxton Lynch would be on it. First-round draft pick, and Tigers were pretty darn good under his leadership, but it took a while before they were. That was when Fuente was getting started. So I can understand him being left off. Others think Danny Wimprine should have been on that list. The numbers he put up when it still wasn't a pass-happy football team. It was still run-oriented, give the ball to two, as Tommy West would say, and D'Angelo would take it the distance. So, look, again, we could debate a lot of different things. Pollard is on, should be on, but there's no other running back. There's no Antonio Gibson. There's no Kenneth Gainwell. There's no Darrell Henderson. But I understand. Even though Henderson was flirting with $2,000, wasn't he, the 1 year? 2,000 yards.
Right,
so, yeah, there's no rhyme or reason. It's a great debate topic, but I can understand them keeping Steph off. Certainly after what he can do and hopefully does for the Tigers fans' sake this year, if you did this thing next year, and maybe they will, he'll probably be on that list.
Yeah. Greg Gaston with us from the Tiger Sideline. It's brought to you every week by Jim's Place, Collierville, Mount Moriah Auto Sales, the offices of Stephen Leffler, and Neil's Bar and Grill.
Greg, I want to ask you one more quick question before we let you go about Tiger basketball. And I feel like a lot of people are going to say this is cheesy or whatever it might be, but I saw that the team was out. I don't know if it was Penny Hardaway's house or somebody else's house. They had a game night, I think either last night or the night before. They posted pictures of it on Twitter. While that just seems like fun, whatever, this team needs as much chemistry building as they can get with all of the new faces, both on and off the court. What have you been hearing about how this team has been looking in practices and both on and off the court when it comes to trying to build that chemistry for this season?
I've heard a number of players who have said that they feel the chemistry is really coming along. Penny said he'd have his team pretty much put together a lot earlier than he's had the last few years. We know that has gone basically into the fourth quarter, deep into the fourth quarter before he fulfilled his roster. And you never know when a player could fall into your lap. But for the sake of this year's team, he had those guys pretty much on campus when he said he was going to have them on campus.
Mm-hmm.
And they're all newcomers with the exception of Jourdain and Noah Stansbury, so they need the chemistry. I've heard good things about the chemistry. They like each other. They're very complimentary of each other. And doing activities like that, especially away from the basketball court, I think it's fantastic. You see it a lot in football.
Mm-hmm.
You hear about it in other sports. I don't think you can do anything wrong by doing that. Just continue to build the chemistry, the camaraderie. Hopefully this is a team that will surprise people. I know Lenardi in his way too early projections had them in. I don't think there's any question that Memphis should win the conference and get the AQ. The question will be, are they going to be good enough to make a legitimate run at a high seed or good seed because of the non-conference portion of their schedule? Can they win those type of games, which they did last year with, on paper, what was a more talented team than this year? And then, of course, they went kaput as the conference season came along. So, I think it's great, Brian. I think the camaraderie is getting there from everything that I have heard, and hopefully that will continue on have the great chemistry come this fall and winter.
Yeah, you got to hope so. Well, Greg, as always, thanks so much for joining us, and we'll do this again next week.
Sounds great. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Greg.
Thank you, Greg Gaston, with us every week, and we sure appreciate it. Here's how you can build some team building and some chemistry. Take everybody to the commissary, either location. At Houston, Levy, and Poplar are the original in Germantown. Okay, tonight might be a little hot to get out on the patio at Houston, Levy, and Poplar, but soon we will be able to and enjoy all the action on all the TVs tonight. Everything will be on there, baseball, the Olympics, and football. The great Memphis-style barbecue and ribs done the slow-cooked Memphis way, the signature of Walker Taylor and his great team. Start that barbecue feast with the appetizers. That could be your entree, but build slow, like the cheese plate or the tamales, the smoked chicken wings, and the barbecue nachos invented and created and made famous by Walker Taylor and his team in the early 80s when they were just at the commissary in Germantown. Now with the two great locations, dig into the ribs or the shoulder, chopped or pulled on a plate, on a sandwich. All of the sides, beans, slaw, deviled eggs, bread, and you can order it by the pound or a 6-pack or an 8-pack or a 12-pack. Perfect for tailgating when we come up in to the tailgating season in a few weeks. The salads are great, and I know it's heresy to mention this, but it's true. One of the great hamburgers in town is at the commissary. I know we go there for the barbecue, but the hamburgers are delicious. And all the desserts like the lemon icebox pie, the banana pudding, 901 754-5540. Go online at commissarybbq.com. They're in Collierville. They're in Germantown, those party areas, orders to go, catering, tailgating. And when we get into the fall, into football season, we'll start talking about the holidays and the holiday bird and all the food that goes with that for both Thanksgiving and at the Christmas season. 901-754-5540 or online at commissarybbq.com. And at the golf tournament in 2 weeks, the pit behind one green by the silo to the left of 8 tee box, kind of near 9 tee box. Go over to and enjoy the commissary at the golf tournament at the pit.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm excited to get over by the pit in a couple of weeks at the FedEx St. Jude Championship. Let's go ahead and get to a break, and when we come back, we'll talk about what's trending.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
For over 8 decades, America's farmers have counted on the Little Red Tractor from Case IH, the Farm All, to help them make short work of their demanding chores. Well, Mid-South Ag can show you they aren't just for farms anymore. With horsepower ranging from 30 to 105, plus an army of attachments, they can tackle every chore on your to-do list, from hauling and mowing to loading and towing and then some. Stop by Mid-South Ag Equipment or call 662-890-3141 to find a Case IH Farm All that's right for you.
Getting engaged is one of life's most spectacular occasions. And when you find your ring at Sissy's Log Cabin, the promise of a lifetime begins with our promise to always provide unmatched quality, superior service, and brilliant natural diamonds. Find your dream engagement ring, wedding bands, and more when you shop Sissy'sLogCabin.com or stop by one of our 6 locations. Begin the rest of your line in brilliant, only at Sissy's Log Cabin, because life's too short for ordinary jewelry.
They can't get that Central Barbecue location on Central back open soon enough.
It's still going to be a little while. They do things right at Central Barbecue. That's why every location is so unique.
I know, but there's a lot of different Central Barbecue locations, but I miss the OG, the Central Barbecue on Central.
You know, it's going to be completely different.
Well, not completely.
Yeah, when the Central Barbecue location on Central reopens, it'll be bigger, nicer, more streamlined.
But still on Central.
That's about the only thing. For the time being, until they tell us different, you can't go wrong with any of the Central Barbecue locations.
You know, I think we've broken a record for saying Central Barbecue the most times in a Central Barbecue commercial.
Chris Price here for Brian Elder Roofing. For nearly 2 decades, we've installed some of the best roof systems across the Mid-South. To the tens of thousands of clients we've served, we are honored. So many of you call our team at Brian Elder Roofing your roofers. Our team is dedicated to serving you and keeping your family safe, dry, and mold-free. The recent hailstorms have caused massive damage, and many of these will go unnoticed for years, even though the golf ball-sized hail we just experienced in the Mid-South compromises even the best-built roof system. Whether we find damage or not, your photos are securely stored for future reference. Call Brian Elder Roofing today for a total evaluation of your entire roof system free. We will not try to sell you a roof if all you need is a repair. Call me at 901-867-0303. That's 901-867-0303. Or visit us online at brianelderroofing.com.
The best golfers in the world are coming to Memphis for the WGC FedEx St. Jude Invitational. Sports 56 and 98.5 FM will be broadcasting live at TPC Southwind throughout the day, Wednesday through Friday of tournament week, keeping you up to date with the latest tournament news and talking with the players and officials. Our coverage of TPC Southwind on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM is brought to you by Landers Ford in Carterville. Also sponsored by Town Village Auto Park, Wilson's Power Wash, Raid Incorporated, North Mississippi John Deere Dealer, Blue Cross Blue Shield of Tennessee, and Jason's Deli.
Ole Miss Rebel Yell is back. The Rebel Yell Hotline Radio Show is back on WHBQ Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Every Monday night at 6, hear the latest news on your Ole Miss Rebels with Yancey Porter with 24/7 Sports, former Ole Miss defensive tackle Mike Fitzsimmons, Gordon Ford covering SEC Sports Call, and former Ole Miss baseball announcer Gary Darby. From kickoff to free throw to extra innings, your Ole Miss sports on the Rebel Yell Hotline Show right here Monday night at 6 on Sports 56, 560 AM and 98.5 FM. Your Mid-South Sports Station.
Now back to Sportstime on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Brian Davis.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you in our Family Leisure Studios. We got a little less than 30 minutes left in today's show, and we got to talk about what's trending. And a lot of people have been talking today about the list over on the Daily Memphian, the greatest Memphis athletes of the century, top 25. Today they ended it out with 1 through 5. The last couple of days they've been leading it up, going obviously from 25 all the way down to today with number 1. So Brett, what was your takeaway from this list over at the Daily Memphian?
As we know how hard lists are to do.
Very.
And this is a very big challenge too. What I would like to have a little more clarity on, and I didn't see it anywhere in the body of the story or in anything about what into the list. Who were the panelists? Was it a big group? Was it lively give and take? Or was it pretty much a 1 or 2 person show and somewhat of a fiat? I would like to have a little more clarity on that. I know it's really hard to do, and it's why I don't want to be too over the top about it. But I think there are some misses, and I've got my opinions about that. The list starts at Ricky Stenhouse at 25, and then Sean McKeel at 24. I want to say this about Sean McKeel. I don't think there's anybody more unappreciated in town than Sean McKeel.
Yeah.
He was low man winner of a PGA championship, of a golf major, and he had other good tournaments in his career. I don't know how he is at 24. Calvin Austin at 23, Nina Davis at 22, Anthony Miller 21, Stephen Gostkowski at 20, Brent Rooker 19, Brady White 18, Jaron Jackson 17, Tony Allen 16, a tie. I mean, how'd we tie? were there votes? The tie was between Joe Jackson and Rachel Heck. Chris Douglas Roberts 13, Harrison Williams 12. 1 through 11, I thought was absolutely nailed by the panelists, whomever.
Sure.
Mike Conley 11, Austin Riley, the Atlanta Brave 10, Pau Gasol 9, Tony Pollard 8, Matt Cain 7, Cindy Parlow 6, Derrick Rose 5, Zach Randolph 4, D'Angelo Williams 3, Mark Gasol 2, and John Morant number 1. Of the 25, there were 4 people that are individual sports, like Ricky Stenhouse,
Sure.
like Sean McKeel. That's
Right.
2 of the 4. The other 16 or other 21 were team sports.
Wow.
In that, 5 of the 16 were champions. There's not a lot of champions. I mean, John Morant's never won a championship.
Right.
Mark Gasol, not here. He
Sure.
did for Spain. D'Angelo Williams, Zach Randolph, Derrick Rose, sadly, we know didn't win a championship. Cindy Parlow did. Matt Cain did. Tony Pollard hadn't. Pau Gasol did. Austin Riley, he did. Mike Conley hadn't. You go through this, there's not a lot of championships among the team portion, which makes up 21 of the 25. I thought the biggest miss was Memphian Thaddeus Young.
Yeah.
He's played in the NBA 17 of these 25 years that we're judging it.
Yeah.
He has over 14,000 points.
Yeah. No, you're right. That's a huge miss, and I know this is just
and here's the person I would take out to put Thaddeus Young in.
Okay.
I would take out Nina Davis.
Yeah, no, I don't think that's wrong, but I think that's a huge miss when you look at Thad Young. Not only his career goes to the NBA, has a great NBA career, but also, and I understand we're keeping this to just on the court things, but what Team Thad has done here in Memphis for the AAU basketball scene, and that's a team that Thaddeus Young has put his name on, has been very important as well. So I think that's a huge
he
miss.
is the number 1 NBA player of all time produced out of Memphis.
Yeah.
I know everybody's going to scream penny, 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 and
Sure.
I know that, and I know he probably would have done that, but he didn't. The whole availability. He couldn't
Sure.
help he got hurt, but he did.
Yeah.
Now, you go way, way, way back, I would submit Bobby Bingo Smith being on that list as well. Mark Gasol, also out of Lausanne. Barrett Jones, the most decorated college football player ever produced by Shelby County. three-time national champion, Outland Trophy winner, All-American at two different positions.
Crazy.
And part of the biggest sports dynasty of the 21st century. There's no world that Brady White was a better college football player than Barrett Jones.
Yeah.
Brady White would tell you that.
No, absolutely. And a lot of that is the fact that Brady White played for the University of Memphis and Barrett did not,
and never made first team all conference.
Right. Yeah. Well, and my biggest problem, mine was more of where some of these people were on the list instead of people that missed. And you've brought up some really good names. I loved Michael Orr that Greg brought up in our last segment. But one of the bigger problems I have, and I love Brady White. I was a big Brady White defender when some people wanted to hate on him.
And thought it was disgraceful when he was booed at the AAC championship.
Extremely. I love Brady White. But you've got Brent Rooker, one spot behind him, a guy that's playing in Major League Baseball and was also a all-star for the Athletics and has had a really, really good start to his career. I think Brent Rooker should be higher on this list than Brady White.
I don't want to get too hung up on spots on the list.
Right.
I did a little bit with Sean at 24, and frankly, where would I move him to? I would change him with Rachel Heck. Winning an NCAA championship like Rachel Heck did and her prodigious amateur career does not touch winning a golf major on the PGA Tour. It doesn't. Rachel Heck and her dad, I bet, would tell you that.
Yeah, no, I think I would.
I would swap them. But what the biggest task on kind of these big lists, and I did these at the end of the 20th century, as we were winding into Y2K and counting down, and I died on the hill fighting for Jack Nicklaus or Babe Ruth over Muhammad Ali or Michael Jordan. I remember that those lively debates. Well, I know how hard it is to do these lists. The biggest thing is get the 25 right.
Yeah.
And then jockey on the positions, and you can hash it out however you would like with that. But I think that Thad Young and Barrett Jones and Michael Orr should have been on this list. And the three I would take out, I already mentioned that I would take out Nina Davis. I would take out Brady White, and I would take out Ricky Stenhouse.
Yeah, no, I don't think you're wrong about those either, and you're right. It's very hard to do, and there are a lot of good names in there to even start talking about for a list like this, and so it definitely makes it difficult. But you're right.
What'd you think of Joe Jackson on it? I defended Joe Jackson, the 4-year career and the obliteration of the record book. It was up there.
Yes.
But the team aspect, again, I go back to not many of these are champions.
Yeah, I'm the wrong person to ask when it comes
Michael
to Joe
Orr was a champion.
Sure.
Barrett Jones was a champion.
Right. No, you're absolutely right. But again, I'm not the right person to ask about anything Joe Jackson related. I would die for Joe Jackson. I love King of Memphis.
And I loved him.
Love Joe Jackson. But you're right. I think maybe a little high on him. If I had to say anything, I love that he's on the list, but 14 is awfully high.
What about Lorenzen Wright? And not just the sad circumstances of his passing, but he was part of the Grizzlies coming to Memphis. I know his Tiger career predated the years that they were doing this for, but he was a very, very good NBA player.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. I didn't even really think about him because, like you said, he was one of those that really kind of crossed over the start line for this list with him being in college before this list would have taken place, and then most of his NBA career after. So, yeah, that's an interesting one.
I think a little early for Calvin Austin.
Yeah, that's another one that I think could be up for argument and discussion. But, like you said, it's very hard to make these lists, and so I think
it is.
I think a lot of these that you could have some really good arguments about of where to put them and if they should be on it.
And let me repeat, I am in no way criticizing clickbait.
Right.
We do a lot of things for click listening bait.
Of course, absolutely.
And that's part of being in a for-profit business, and they are and we are.
Sure, and it's a fun list. I mean, you look at a lot of these names and you love seeing them. And so I know I saw some people earlier, saw, Chris Douglas Roberts on here. Obviously, you got Derrick Rose on here. Some people asking why Joey Dorsey went on the list or even named as maybe a runner-up for the list.
Did they list runners-up?
I don't know. I saw somebody asking why was Joey Dorsey even considered for this list? I need to pull it up.
Oh, you might not want to even do that because that really opens up a whole new can of worms.
Yeah, you really can get into it.
It's tough enough as it. And again, on the people that I am on the whole snub thing, if you're going to take somebody off, if you're going to add somebody, you got to take somebody off.
Certainly.
I'm in no way trying to disparage their discipline, their commitment, what they've accomplished. But if you're gonna add, you got to delete.
Sure. No, you absolutely. I mean, that's how it works. That's the name of the game when you're doing a top 25.
Or it's not a top 25 list.
Exactly.
It's a top 38 list.
Exactly. Then we're just going forever and ever and naming great players. But I'm with you. I think this top 11 or so, I would say, is really, really strong.
And don't forget, when I advocate for Barrett Jones, it was not a very long one, but he did play in the NFL.
Sure, yeah, no, absolutely. That's a really good point.
Injury riddled.
Sure,
but he did play in the National Football League.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
But his Alabama career is second to none for college football players.
Absolutely unbelievable. So I think that was a big miss for sure. I also got to give a shout out to Matt Cain, former Houston Mustang. Anytime I can give a shout out to Matt Cain, I got to take that opportunity. Big old Matt Cain and number over at
Legendary.
the baseball complex at Houston. So
I'm going to send you a picture I have that I took at the Giants ballpark of a kind of a tribute trophy case they have for Matt Cain.
Oh, wow.
At the great ballpark where the Giants play.
Please send me that. That's awesome. I love that. So, anytime I can get a shout-out for Houston High School, I got to get it in there. But let's go ahead and get to our last break of the day. When we come back, we'll wrap up today's show with Crunch Time.
This is John Vergas. When my dad started the Rendezvous in 1948, I don't think anyone could have imagined we'd still be serving shoulder, cheese plates, and our world-famous dry rub ribs 75 years later. But we are still here in the basement, in an alley in downtown Memphis. We sincerely thank you for making the Rendezvous what it is today. Charlie Vergas Rendezvous, a legendary experience for over 75 years, whether you dine in, pick up, or ship across the country.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. 120,000 miles of night drives, daily commutes, and who knows how many. Through countless fixes, elbow grease, and a new radiator, you kept your ride alive. With eBay Motors, you have over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Country music singer-songwriter Kylie Morgan absolutely loves her Genesis Diamond ring.
I got so many compliments as soon as I got the ring, and continue to get compliments on it. It looks really pretty on my finger.
Kylie's husband Jay heard folks in the music industry raving about Genesis, and he also did a lot of homework on his own.
When it came to finding the ring, he took it very seriously. He did all the research. I think he knows more about diamonds than any man in the entire world. And that's how he landed on Genesis. He just knew it was the best.
Jay picked out a stunning, flawless, pear-shaped diamond in an elegant set. Got the value price Genesis is known for. And Kylie tell everyone they knew about the amazing Genesis experience.
When you walk into Genesis, you can just feel the happiness. You know that they're helping find something that symbolizes the love that you have for your partner, and you can feel that as soon as you walk through the door.
Genesis Diamonds at Poplar and Perkins Extended.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies candidates with the right skills, sends you great matches, then you can easily invite them to apply. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. See for yourself. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try ZipRecruiter for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
There's an institution in East Memphis that I love talking about. It's the Spirit Shop at 4848 Poplar Avenue, right down the street from Clark Tower, and it looks like a log cabin. It's been around Memphis since 1969 with a family-owned, friendly, knowledgeable sales staff that is just a wonderful place to go. I love going in and talking wine or bourbons, and they've got such great selection. So if you've not visited the Spirit Shop in a while, it's been remodeled. You'll love what you see when you need spirits. Tell Eddie Wollo said hello.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Brian Davis.
This is pretty cool, and we're just getting started, so.
Spanning the globe.
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy!
This is for all the biggest crunch time.
You are looking live. In your life have you seen anything like that? Goodbye! Hello, Haskell.
It's obviously crunch time.
Hammer, nail, coffin. This baby is over.
Well, Brett, what I learned today is it was a gold medal day for Team USA at the Olympics. Simone Biles won another gold medal after winning it in the team event a couple days ago. Now today, the all-around individuals, she won gold. The rowing team brought home gold later today. And also from some other categories, Guatemala won its first ever gold medal yesterday as Adriana Rano Olivia broke the trap shooting Olympic record to give Guatemala their first ever gold medal. So it's definitely a gold day at the Olympics.
You ever gone trap shooting?
No, I have not.
I haven't either.
So I have not been
you
a part
think
of that.
You could hit anything?
I do not. No,
I couldn't hit the broadside of a ball.
I definitely couldn't. But it's been a fun day at the Olympics nonetheless. A lot of medals going out. Today, we're going to start seeing a lot of these events kind of start winding down, giving out medals, and then we'll kind of have that second wave where we get a lot of the track and field events starting over the weekend into next week.
I know probably shouldn't ask this around the Olympics with the dove. Have you ever been dove hunting?
I have not, no. I've actually never been. Well, I shouldn't say that. I went hunting once, but we did not see anything. It was with my buddy, and I was kind of miserable.
My brother and plenty of
my
my friends love it, but
Yeah.
I wasn't much of a hunter, and I couldn't hit a dove if my life depended on it.
No.
What I learned is last year it was Houston with a rookie quarterback,
yeah.
surprising many and winning 10 games before losing the playoffs. Could it be the Bears this year? We won't get a glimpse of it tonight because no Caleb Williams. But this is not that number one pick at a total rebuild. Maybe not even at the rebuild level that the Texans had last year. So we'll see. I think the Bears could make their way into the playoffs. They'd have to go on the road in the first round, though.
Yeah, they definitely would have to do that, and that'd make it very, very tough. Brett, what I could have done without, it's kind of been the same trend I've been talking about all day. The men's 3-on-3 team, they lose again.
It's got to roll.
0-4 in the group stage of the Olympics.
Make them walk home. No, they can't do that.
No, can't do that. Don't get near the river either. Let's get them on a plane and get them back here. But I'm curious. I'm definitely going to be keeping a closer eye on the 3-on-3 scene. I did not know this was a scene, but thanks to Keith Smith, we know more about kind of what goes about having to
You gonna be our
qualify
point person on it?
I'm going to
Good.
try to be. Because here's the thing, Brett.
It's all yours.
Here's the thing, Brett. It's one thing for both men's and women's 3-on-3 teams to combine for one win in the group stage in France. In 2028, when it's in Los Angeles, 3-on-3 basketball, you got to win. You got to at least be competitive out there, and they were not. So, yes, I will take that hat, one of many hats I have. I'll add another one, and I will wear the American 3-on-3 correspondent hat. How about that?
That is a point of angry fandom, and we've all done it. They ought to make them walk home.
That's right, yes. Every team has been told to walk home at least once. Yes, no. Don't walk home anywhere.
I could have done without the Phillies. Swept at home for first time in over 2 years, and now Bryce Harper in an ugly schneid 1-for-30 slump. Baseball can be really humbling, and it was even worse for Mike Trout today with that news. Yeah. The Braves can't catch the Phillies because of all the injuries, but the Phillies are going the wrong way since July 5th.
Yeah, which is hard to believe because they've been so on top of everything for so long, and now, you're starting to see them kind of slide just a little bit. Where are you beaming tonight?
Canton, OHIO.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I messed it up.
Yeah, it's okay.
Canton OH.
I-O.
There you
Wow.
go. Once home to the Canton Bulldogs for the Hall of Fame game tonight. ABC, ESPN. Let's see those ratings tomorrow with the Hall of Fame game up against the Olympics and TV ratings tonight. There's no way they beat them, is it?
I don't think
football
so, no.
in the United States. They're in the Olympics, though.
I think the Olympics ultimately win.
Be fun to see tomorrow.
It's going to be very, very interesting to keep an eye on. Definitely beam me to the Hall of Fame game tonight. I can't wait to watch it, even though both coaches have pretty much came out and said that no starters will play for either of us. It's still football. There's still going to be storylines. There's still going to be players to watch. For a lot of these guys, they're going to be fighting for a spot on this roster, so it'll definitely be a lot of fun to keep an eye on. But then right after that, beam me out to Paris. I'll catch a couple of Z's on the plane over for another great day tomorrow.
Beaming machine has to sleep.
I see. Okay, so I'll be well rested when I get over there. Okay, that makes
we like
it perfect.
2 hours is equivalent of overnight sleeping. Yeah, beaming machine.
Okay.
I mean, it's like
that.
Air Force One times 500.
Yes. Well, and Brett, I've heard a lot of people say that the live sporting events are over at the Olympics, but that is not true because we have surfing on right now. I believe still on because
surfing at midnight.
Well, complete other side of the world. Because they don't have waves in France that are sustainable for the surfing that these athletes need to do.
Where are we surfing?
I don't want to try to guess because I've heard them say it, but I don't remember the exact country that we were at. But yes, surfing not happening in Paris.
Cardinals on the north side of Chicago tonight against the Cubs at Wrigley. 54 games remain for the Cardinals. 30-24 may get the Cardinals into postseason. O's at Cleveland, maybe the best two teams in all of baseball. And who will we see at quarterback at the end of the game tonight? We will chart that for you.
They're in Tahiti, Brett. Tahiti, French Polynesia.
Did the Dove had to fly to Tahiti?
You know what? Maybe. I don't know. But yes, they're on the other side of the world.
That's great.
In Tahiti surfing. So you can still watch some live Olympic events right now as we speak. But that's all the time we have today. Enjoy your night. We'll talk to you again tomorrow afternoon.